He started adventuring at 16, fast forward 4 years. The gate creaks open. Giant returns to his craft. He suddenly kicks out the injured hero who was only filling in as a mage. The warrior doubts Craft is a real wizard. 3 adventurers jump the hero, attacking him for being a total failure. They call his seal a fraud because he only knows basic magic. Craft just grips his staff tighter. The adventurer finally nails Craft's profession. He admits he lacks the skills to be an adventurer, and the hero agrees. Craft's kicked out again, wondering how many more times he'll have to endure this. The secretary takes one look and knows. The hero's tears confirm everything. The secretary gives Craft his polite take. She's convinced Craft isn't cut out for adventuring. He's already been kicked off multiple teams. Craft's chasing peak magic power, but he never sticks with a team. He's speechless before the secretary. His magic is trash and he needs saving from every weak mob. Craft's stuck with basic magic like making water, unable to advance any further. He's paralyzed, memories of every past rejection flood back. The secretary reports a new request from the Builders Guild. This unusual request instantly hooks the hero. They're building a new village on a secret border road. They need someone for the long haul. To pull this off, he has to quit the guild. Leaving changes nothing, so he rejects the offer. But the secretary insists it's a perfect fit, 0 combat skills required. Craft's a failed mage with 0 talent, so he's forced to agree. He accepts the job and demands the full story. Shocked by the compliance, the secretary prepped the paperwork, officially booting the master from the guild. Inspiration surges through Craft. He knows this is the turning point. Dreaming of becoming a master builder. He's ready to test his limits, but a strange noise stops him cold. The loader dashes past, shouldering a heavy package. Craft sees the world buzzing around him. He stood frozen in the square as the crowd swarmed around him. Suddenly a voice calls out. A man approaches, confused by the craftsman, but only asks for the registrar. The man snaps, asking who's registering the craft, but flips to friendly the moment he hears the boys from the Adventurers Guild. The stranger hugs Craft, thanks him, then tells his team he's stepping out to see him off. At the Builders Guild, a stranger waits, claiming the hero is exactly who he's been expecting. Turns out he's the guild leader. The hero reveals his name, Craftvaken, and the guild leader is floored. It's the perfect name for a master builder. He's loving it, and raw passion is finally overtaking skill. The guild leader spots Craft's mage status, but Craft panics, insisting 4 years of training left him completely useless. The leader's skeptical. He asks if the hero's tested his emblem yet. Turns out he hasn't. Craft got his crest from a high magic village, but that's all he knows. The leader suggests a priest to appraise its power. Hero fears the cost, but the leader's got it handled. Craft questions their kindness, and the leader admits they're just betting on his craftsman talent. Craft knows his family crest is completely useless for magic. He says he'll think it over while the leader summons a man in a tall hat from the counter. Geraldus priest offers Craft a test of his coat of arms power. Craft agrees and the priest starts the ritual. They're dissecting the coat of arms' true power. The maid freezes in shock. Craft's in total disbelief, stunned and clueless about what's happening. The priest says the craftsmanship and army emblem are a total mismatch. The crest is so incompatible it'll wreck the boy's health, leaving Craft in total shock. Everyone is stunned, and Craft is about to pass out from shock. The minister demands an immediate crest change, declaring substandard designs strictly forbidden. Craft stunned. Before the shocked crowd, the priest offers to rewrite the coat of arms on the spot, and Craft accepts. The hero wonders which coat of arms fits him best. The servant says the strongest emblem is perfect for the craft. The Twilight alchemist. Craft's got no clue what it is. The crowd is stunned as the guild leader snatches the item. He'd never heard of the Twilight alchemist, but this emblem makes them anything but ordinary. Alchemist signs are rare, but the Twilight alchemist is a myth. Plus, these signs can evolve into advanced coats of arms. Twilight alchemists use standard skills, but the MC is now the strongest of them all. The name's weird because it's temporary, and this crest is a total first. The minister built this to prove mastering alchemy creates gold. Asked to change the crest, Craft hesitates, saying a final goodbye to the old design. He asks the priest to change the crest and end its suffering. The minister tells him not to worry and begins the ritual. The minister names the new coat of arms, Twilight Alchemist. Ritual over, the mark appears on the hero's arm. His hand erupts in light as raw magic surges through every cell of his body. He's stunned. This is his magic. His arm bears a gold crest. The priest explains gold is the highest rank. He's never heard of this before, and he's definitely spreading the word. Hero thanks the servant, but he modestly claims he's just doing his job. A random girl screams. She's never met an alchemist this elite. the guild leader introduces her, Lifashemin. Lefa joins the borderbound group and meets Kraft along the way. Lefa wants an alchemist, but Kraft's shocked a tiny girl is heading to the border. The guild leader just smiles. Lefa isn't just a member, she's the leader, leaving Kraft stunned. The leader calls sending a master alchemist to the border insane, but Lefa shouts him down. She clings to the hero and won't let go. Kraft's baffled by the chaos, while Lefa clashes with the leader over where to send him. The leader reveals Lif's part dwarf, making her way older than she looks. Lefa snaps, instantly threatening the leader with a giant hammer. The leader begs Lef for mercy, but Kraft realizes he's actually a weakling. Krept begs to leave, still on edge, but the leader just cracks another joke about Leif's age. She slams her hammer into the floor with insane power. The building shakes, beams crashing down one by one. Liefa bills the Builders Guild for repairs and everyone agrees. Kraft, he blames the leader for everything. The guild master brags about Liefa's power, but the village leader has him on edge. This case hits the border counts direct bloodline. Kraft's shocked this noble only rules one village. Watch his masterclass negotiation skills win everyone over. He trusts the half-dwarf and dusk alchemist to win, but Kraft senses a dark omen. First alchemy gig, and he's giving it everything he's got. Dawn breaks and the crew is itching to go. Liefa promises they'll move once the carts are loaded. Carts and gear are everywhere, looks like the whole guild is hitting the road. They're just packing essentials for the move. The hero watches every cart get loaded. All the hero's gear is stored in a special space. Kraft mastered it overnight the second he became an alchemist. He tells the director and Lafayette, and their shock catches Kraft completely off guard. The leader's clueless about this power, but Lefa says it's an ultra-rare talent. They demand Kraft use it now, as the leader finds a target. Kraft faces a mountain of bricks. He tries talking his way out, but the boss shuts him down and forces him to work. Lefa backs the leader. These dense bricks prove the storage is massive, making this the ultimate skill test. Knowing he's outmatched, the hero fires a spell straight at the cart. It works perfectly. The cart vanishes into storage, leaving the crowd stunned. Easy work. Surprised his power handled the weight, he shoves the cart right back into place. Kraft's captured, forced to use magic he's never needed before. If alchemy fails, our hero's got a backup, becoming a loader. Meanwhile, the leader rounds up every card to trigger the Kraft. Power hits every card at once, and the crowd goes wild for the spectacle. Kraft and Lefa stood at the center of a crowd, surrounded by pure admiration. The crowd's joy rattles the hero, but the guild leader ignores the master and pays him for the delivery. If word gets out a master alchemist works for free, Kraft is in deep trouble. Surrounded by grateful fans, the hero realizes one skill just funded months of luxury. He proudly eyes his new coat of arms. Liefa tells Kraft to drop the formalities and speak casually. Guild's finally family, and he's even using her nickname. Everyone's hyped to have these powerhouses on the team. Lefa wishes him luck and the hero politely replies, "Thank you, ma'am." Now the Twilight Alchemist, our hero charges into a new life. Kraft Fikins an unlucky wizard constantly getting kicked off his team. Wielding the legendary seal of the Twilight Alchemist, he heads to Kaideku to begin his life as a true alchemist. Kraft and Lefa head to the Pioneer farewell. Kraft's confused, but Lefa reassures him it's just an ancient tradition. He wants the ceremony over fast and tells Liefa to hurry. Armored soldiers flood the square, marching in formation. The guild master demands a simple ceremony, but the warrior leader counters. The guest traveled too far to skip the honors. Tall noble steps up to the leader, Zaid Hasadal Vale. Everyone drops to their knees, forced into submission by life itself. "Don't kneel, this isn't official, we're just here to talk." Zay reveals his little brother protects Kaida village. Kyle Hasadal Wade steps up. He's tiny, instantly sparking shocked whispers from the crowd. The leader hates his child's successor. Kraft and Liefa are amused, but the hero senses a bad omen. Beside Kyle is his sister, Mina Vale, and he insists they have a good reason for sticking together. Zay grabs his sister and leaves. The leader warns him the village is dangerous, but Zay already knows the risks. Zaid asks if he's ready for the hike. He says yes, and Zaid's got zero worries. Noble warns, if things go south, the leader's blamed and everyone pays. Kraft sees through Zaid's act. He's setting Kyle up for failure to destroy his reputation. The boy steels himself against the noble's rant until Kraft cuts Zaid off. He shouts to the terrified Lef and Glava that their plan is guaranteed to succeed. The girl's shaking, but Zaid's hooked. Kraft sees his younger self in Kyle and agrees to help, glad the kid isn't alone like he was. He's far from useless. Driven by conviction, he knows they'll crush every obstacle and return as winners. Date froze as the guild members clutched their heads, paralyzed by disbelief. The aristocrat bursts out laughing. He respects Kraft's guts and wits, but he's certain the colonists are in for hell. He walks off, wishing them luck and reminding them that results are everything. Worst farewell ever. The manager and Leafa grill him for the setup and Kraft finally snaps. Kyle breaks the standoff, asking Kraft why he's getting involved. The leader and Lefa drop to their knees, dragging the hero down and apologizing to the nobles, but the boy tells them there's no need to bow. Kraft tells the boy he's been in the same spot. He recounts his life as a failed adventurer. Hearing Kraft's struggles, the hero relates and vows to help Kyle. Kyle admits he's weak, but he's going all out to finally be useful. He finally shouts for Kraft help, and his sister backs him up. Kraft promised they'd make it, instantly lifting everyone's spirits. The guild remembers Kyle's kindness, cheering that they're stoked to be on his team. The kid's fame just skyrocketed. Leaving the guild, the team detours. The direct route is too risky. 2 days in, they finally hit the forest. Kraft and Liafoy's insane speed leaves the others gassed and struggling to keep pace. The group is hitting their limit and begging for a break. Liefa calls for a day of rest, but the road never ends. Night falls over the city, leaves struggling with the routine, so Kraft suggests an endurance potion to keep everyone energized. The endurance potion buffs the whole squad. It's an easy craft, so the master is whipping up a batch for everyone. Leafa warns they're low on herbs, but Kraft's opcrest lets him brew a full potion with just a spoonful. Testing his theory, he fills a glass and adds a spoonful of workshop herbs. Freshly minted as an alchemist, he brews his first endurance potion. The potion glows in the dark. He hands her a cup and she scans its quality with magic. Kraft waits for the verdict and Leafa gasps, stunned he actually brewed such a special potion. His potion became a total legend. They're stunned. Herb shouts that the potion is insane. It lasts 12 hours and stays fresh for 1,000 years. Leafa's ecstatic. They plan to dose the settlers tomorrow. Morning hits and the donkeys notice the soup tastes different. Everyone's devouring the soup, demanding Kraft's secret. That potion made it taste legendary. Last night they were spent, but now they're fully recharged. Even the horse is back in action, an insane overnight recovery. Kraft hands the elixir to Kyle and his sister, but before they can drink, he's suddenly interrupted. Guardians Alfred and Persia are frantic over the kid's health. The potion works too well, raising instant suspicion. Settlers thrive and the boy trusts the craft. His grit even stuns the knights. Alfred downs the potion, draining every drop, then clutches his heart as sharp pain stabs his chest. Energy explodes from him. Persia worries, but Kraft guarantees 0 side effects. The potion is lethal but risky. Alarms blare, goblins are raiding. Persia scouts the defense and it's looking grim. A lone figure charges the goblins, shouting he'll handle them. The goblins advance. Alfred dives into the goblin horde, scattering them with powerful blows. The knight never tires despite his massive power, and Kraft is truly grateful for the help. Fueled by new strength, the settlers crushed their schedule, finishing a month-long journey in record time. 1 week later they arrive, but it's a disaster, just overgrown ruins and total disbelief. Luffy grew up right in this village. Kraft watches as the fragments spark Liffy's childhood memories, until a voice calls her name. The boys find the perfect spot to rebuild the village. Kraft's hyped he's not starting from 0, but Liffy's wary. This settlement used to be dwarf territory. Loses everyone context? No, briefing usually implies the group, but everyone is in the original. Kyle walks up. As manager, he needs a pre. Liffy says the seller adores Kyle and demands a speech. She rushes to gather a crowd while Kraft reflects on her hometown. Kraft tries to comfort the girl when Kyle approaches. Kyle doesn't realize Kraft is a noble, so Kraft quickly apologizes for his sharp attitude. The boy vows to master his craft. He asks to drop formalities, but Kraft refuses. Their status gap is too massive. He's doing it his way. Using charm and wits, he's already about to fold. They lock eyes and the hero finally agrees. Kyle's strangely upbeat today, but his guards are dead serious. Kyle addresses the settlers, explaining why they must define and mark their new territory's borders. They need to develop this land fast. He rallies his people to give everything for the goal. The crowd roars. Kyle's guards weep with pride as he basks in the glory. Hero spots Kyle's sister shyly cheering and turns her way. He tells her she can stand by him if she wants. The girl rushes to the craftsman for support, while Kyle tells the settlers to tend to the alchemist. Kraft's stunned as the boy explains his request. The hero's already saved everyone and the world still needs him. Settlers start their crafts as he demands total effort, but suddenly, strangers approach. The builders toss him up in celebration. Lifa watches, realizing Kraft is now responsible for them all. Despite the protests, it lasted nearly an hour. Guy's finally free, but Lifa's already back to organizing. Lifa rewards her escort, but they only ask for a single stamina potion. Kraft offers a bottle, but Lifa stops him. The potion needs a special container, so she tells Kraft to craft it himself. Kraft reveals the tincture lasts 1,000 years, leaving everyone stunned. This bottle keeps the potion fresh for 1,000,000 years. Adventurers head out with healing elixirs while the masters start building new homes. Lifia eyes her massive new home, wondering why she's paired with Kraft, who asks if she's really against living together. She mumbles back, looking down in embarrassment. Kraft's joke bombs, leaving her confused. He admits living together is weird but insists they're just guild comrades. His naivety drives her crazy. Liffy notes sharing a room is a total gray area. The builder guarantees everyone gets their own room. She's safe, but she's dying of shame. Kyle handles both while Luffy's occupied. Enraged, she slams Kraft's head down, sick of his humiliating stunt. Terrified, the boy begs the Eye of Life for help. His village lacks a well, and the long trek to the river is a nightmare. Kraft agrees, a village well makes life easier for everyone. Liffy doubts they'll find water, but Kraft claims he can manifest it. She thinks only wizards have that power, but this alchemist recalls a secret spell to prove her wrong. The emblem awakens his magic, and now he's ready to use everything he knows. Liffy and Kyle are hyped, but the device has a genius plan. He suggests dowsing to find the spot. The guys are baffled, zero clue what this is. Viffy's right, he's hunting for water. Kraft uses alchemy to turn stone into a magical pendulum. This pendulum swings only over underground veins. They find water without gear, but a problem hits. Resources are dry and materials are gone. Magic stone production is dead. Monsters drop these stones. Stronger beasts mean better loot, and they're essential for alchemy. Crafting needs an orc stone, but it's a tough hunt. Sending Persia and Alfred leaves the kids defenseless. The city sells stones, but we need so many that buying enough is impossible. Kraft's about to hunt for stones when a settler suddenly rushes over. Scouts found a village, huge luck for the craftsmen. 20 orcs swarm the village, leaving the settlers paralyzed with fear, but Lisha doesn't feel a drop of it. She claims she can still drop orcs, but Kraft insists on going solo. As an ex-adventurer, he knows the risks and stops her, but she's a former pro too and refuses to back down. Kraft asks to handle the scouting. Nobody expected Kraft to join Recon, but he admits he's only there because he's a trash magician. He handled everything, cooking, repairs, and gathering medicinal herbs. He's a veteran scout, so he's perfect for the job. Kyle and Lifia knew he'd already been through hell. He says goodbye, assuring his friends he's finally ready to fight back. Kraft heads out to explore, but the forest is brutal. Only his endurance potion keeps him moving through the thicket. He moves with caution, dodging traps and marking his path to stay on track. He senses danger. Following his gut, he finds an orc camp. Orcs gorge on roasted meat as Kraft realizes there aren't 20, there are 30. Kraft headed out to test the powerful magic he unlocked as an alchemist. Still hesitant, he kept her a secret from his friends. He'll give it a shot, and even if he fails, there's no shame in that. Hiding in the brush, he plans his move. He trusts his emblem, but if things go south, he'll bolt. It's what he does best. Kraft rises, debuting his new skill, Ice Prison. A loud crack echoes as ice instantly traps the entire orc camp. The heroes stunned as ice blocks materialize from thin air, freezing the orcs solid. Kraft can't contain joy, it explodes into pure delight. He finally mastered a lethal spell. Before, his best spell could only move objects. His true power is unleashed. He's loving this deadly magic while the snowstorm keeps roaming. Kraft freezes in horror, he's deathly cold. His spell triggers a massive blizzard. Refusing to die by his own hand, he grabs the stones and bolts for the village. Kraft hits the village, hauling loot. Everyone's stunned. Asked how he died, he reveals he nearly froze, then drops a bomb. There weren't 20 orcs, but 33. Hero claims he unleashed massive attack magic. Lisha denies it. Kraft was kicked out for being a worthless mage, but after the sign change, he's somehow using magic. Kraft had enough orc stones to return to adventuring, but one look at Kyle killed the idea. The hero's out to show Kyle's brother their true power. Craftsman builds a magic stone pendulum, and they head out to find a well. Visualizing an underground stream, they move until the artifact glows. Everyone follows, but then the device suddenly stops. The artifact stops, its glow hitting its peak. Lifa forced Kraft to rest while the others dug like mad, until everyone suddenly froze in shock. Everyone's cheering, they finally found water. Builders struck a vein on their first try, pure luck, since it's usually way harder. Lifa hypes Craft's monster slaying and water discovery, so the builders vow to construct the ultimate well. Morning hits and the village has big news: a new well just appeared. Craft sits for breakfast as noble kids start approaching him. Mina greets Kyle early, a rare sign she's already obsessed with her craft. He's too shy to approach, bound by strict politeness. Craft tells the guys he's just studying herbs today, and Mina is touched. The noble girl touches his cloak, but her silence leaves him guessing while Belcio watches every move. He says the girl is fighting to reach the MC. Craft realizes Belcia is nothing like Lisha. Guard watches in awe as Craft pulls magic stones from his spatial storage. He crushes stones into a barrel to brew a potion. Moments later, the medicine is ready. The potion won't spoil, so it's off to storage while the girls watch every move. Manus eyes the youth. Belcia wants to stop bothering the hero, but he smoothly claims it's an honor to be with such beauties. He tells the girls they can stay, but turns to find Belgium's mood has flipped. She's glaring at him with pure rage. Panicking, she blasts Craft with accusations to hide her nerves. I grab the boy's cloak again, eyeing Belcia. She brushes it off, stands tall, and follows Persia, her look warning him not to overdo the praise. An hour later, he's filled the entire cellar with barrels of potion. He wants to test the potions but won't hurt himself. Suddenly, a scream breaks his focus. He rushes out to see Jatara, a wounded hunter, being hauled from the woods. They lay the boy down and demand answers. Goblins recently attacked. The hunters wiped them out, but caught off guard, they took a brutal beating. Alfred takes command, deploying patrols and ordering the villagers to take cover. He and his assistant rush Jutaro to the shelter and ask Craft for potions. Craft's got the goods. Kid's wounds were insanely deep. Belcia asks why Jutaro didn't flee, but he explains the goblins were too close to the village to ignore. Finally, Jutaro calls her his big sister. Belcia awkwardly changes the subject while Craft treats the boys, but their wounds remain dangerously deep. Jutaro's dying, Belcia's out of potions, and the massive blood loss looks fatal. Craft hesitates. Should he risk testing these unknown potions on himself? No doctors in town means zero choice. The boy feeds the hunter the potion as Lifa readies the barrel. The craftsman ladles the potion onto the patient, who vanishes instantly inside a thick cloud of vapor. The crowd stares in total shock. Craft's never seen a reaction or vapor this thick. He thinks it's hopeless until the boy's eyes snap open and he bolts upright. He feels zero pain, his wounds are already healed. Impossible, herbs don't work that fast, but Jutaro doesn't have a scratch. Fully healed, the boy thanks the hero. The boy's first herbal treatment works instantly, leaving him ecstatic, but Craft knows it's a fluke. Don't expect this every time. They're skeptical, but the potion works. He feels incredible. Craft warns him to stay sharp and watch his back until tomorrow. Ignoring the talk, Jutaro heads straight to the field. He flees, calling Belcia's sister and fueling her rage. But look at him, he's fully recovered. Belcia wants the military alerted. Craft hopes for army orders, but Belcia isn't convinced. She asks if he can keep her next words secret. Belcia leads the hero to a remote meeting where Lifia drops some major news. She doesn't want to scare Craft, but borderland nobles are constantly fighting and plotting attacks. If one side claims this elixir, it triggers a new war. The army's paying big for the elixir, but they're keeping it secret to maintain peace and test its power. Hero agrees but sells the elixir. Belt stays quiet for now but warns it's only a matter of time. The team splits up. Belcia guards the aristocrats, Lifia builds the fence, and Craft tries talking to Hitsaro again. This pro-hunter isn't letting a goblin touch him that easily. Goblins are no threat to real fighters. Belcia agrees the master is right. Our hero hits the field to find Yataro. He checks the worker but looks ready to hunt, even offering to slay the beast himself until the hero talks him out of it. Asked how the goblin got him, Yataro blames his old, dull blade. The metal's rusting. Craft bolts to the shed for the boy's sword. Yataro's ready to swing his sword, but his mentor kills the hype, banning all training for the day. Craft finds the blade in the barn and instantly knows the truth. The kid's machete is trash. Even if he fixes it, it'll just break again. Craft launches his alchemy trial with a stash of stones while Gita Ryu brags to the hunters about his quick recovery. He rips off his shirt, revealing a perfectly healed body. Not a single scar remains. Everyone's thrilled they can get hurt without consequences, but the Craft hates this mindset and never wanted to be used this way. Craft finds Lifia at the forge, busy hammering away. He has her test his new invention on the old ammo she's fixing. He hands her a special uplifting oil. Life is stunned speechless. She already knew, turns out every blacksmith uses it. Only alchemists can craft something this rare, no wonder she's obsessed. Forge with this to make the gear even stronger. Lifestyler's skill guarantees an epic result, Craft's obsessed with blacksmiths. Blacksmithing isn't her whole life, but she's determined to settle things here. She heads out to forage. She hammers the steel, pouring her soul into the perfect blade. Blade ready, Jotaro tests it and loves the quality. He starts slicing everything in sight, forcing his friends to tell him to be careful. Lifo inspects the machete, checking its edge and condition. Blade still intact, that's an incredible result. Standard hardening would have shattered the blade like glass, but the oil treatment multiplied its strength. Craft pops another potion. They coat the blade in potion. Craft tells Jotaro to test it on a tree. He leaps high and slams into a jutting branch. He slices the branch clean. Walking the branch, his blade nicks the trunk and it starts to tilt. Jotaro grins, everything slices like butter now. The tree begins to topple, leaving the kids frozen in shock. They freeze at the fallen trunk. Jotaro shouts, Craft watches, satisfied, this isn't just a machete anymore, it's pure power. The elixir is sharpening oil, and the hero mocks Lefa for blurting it out first. Lefa wasn't joking, so Craft apologized instantly. She tells Craft to warn the team next time to prevent injuries. The guys release Jotaro, ordering him to save oil and handle the tools with care. He bolts away cheering, yelling that he'll finally show everyone what he's truly made of. Lifia hides her face, she warned them. The machete slices through everything like a magic sword, leaving them stunned. Blacksmith Liffy gauges the blade's power. Craft warns the oil lasts all day, but only half if chopping trees. Use it on every tool and this bottle's gone in a week. Magic stones can craft more, but they've got bigger problems right now. Liefa demands they stop Alfred, but Craft sighs, it's already impossible. Craft can't sleep, so he heads out for a late-night walk. Daily tasks finished, elixirs restocked. Strange moans echoed from Kyle's room. The hero looks inside to find the boy gasping, trapped in a nightmare. He doubled over in agony. Craft calls out to grab the boy's attention. Hero tries waking the boy. Persia appears and shushes him to keep the prince asleep. She claims nothing's wrong, but Craft is absolutely stunned. She says things are better than ever, but he only sleeps with herbs, and when they fade, the attacks return. Craft's shocked by Kyle's condition. The girl explains he hides his pain so well no one ever notices. He's got a heart condition. Now Craft gets why the bodyguard is so protective. Persia can only offer raw strength. She tries to ask a favor, but he's already one step ahead and agrees. The alchemist is certain he can cure this disease. The hero sees Kyle as a little brother and will do anything for him. Inspired, she tells him to start. He hits the library for the info he needs. He finds the plant records, but they only grow in the world's harshest, most unreachable terrain. Head to the swamps, it's crawling with monsters. Craft finally gets why rare potions are so scarce, gathering ingredients is a death trap. Craft heads to the nearby swamp. Giant deadly hydras swarm the swamp. Craft tracks them from afar using magic. His tracking magic scans the distance, revealing a swamp swarming with hydras. Hydras rule the swamp with their many heads, and Craft knows he can't gather herbs here unnoticed. Liffy asks where he's been. He found the potion herbs but couldn't pick them. Craft's vision is too wide to land a clean shot on the hydras. Lafayette stunned by Hydra, Craft demands to know why he's so rattled. She warns he has no clue what happened in the gnome village right here. Fearfully, she reveals the hydras destroyed the village. Usually harmless and hidden, these beasts suddenly swarmed and ambushed the gnomes for no reason. Liffy says they still show up, haunting her every time. Liffia finishes, leaving Craft frozen and speechless as he processes her words. She asks his goal, so he explains he's hunting herbs solo to sneak past the hydras. No fighting, they're only aggressive if provoked. Liffia steps up, boldly declaring she's going too. She tells Craft not to overdo it, trusting his experience. She names him leader, and they start building a team. He rallies his crew, revealing his plan to raid the swamp for herbs while warning them of the deadly risks ahead. He hides Kyle's illness, he's desperate for teammates right now. Persia breaks the silence, telling a stunned Alfred to watch the kids. Alfred knows Persia has her reasons, so he agrees. Jotaro wants in. Their reaction is weird, but he's certain he's heading out with the squad. Jotaro snipes from the back while Luffy and Persia hold the front to protect the master craftsman. For now, Craft sees Luffy's lost in thought, but there's no time to ask. The party's ready, the hero says pack light, his storage skill handles the rest. He needs the team fast. Persia skips the change, her light armor fits perfectly. Liffia returns to the group, decked in full armor and wielding a massive hammer. Craft's livid his satellites failed, but the girl tells him to stay back and watch. She leaps with insane agility in her new gear, catching Kraft completely off guard. Only Jotaro remains, rocking upgraded armor like a total pirate bandit. The guy's wearing his best gear, but Kraft's too scared to tell him he looks awful. Kraft tells Jotaro to oil the arrows. If it fails, they'll just come back and try again. He tells the team not to hold back and use every elixir they need. The army says potions are a last resort, but Persia puts settlers first. Lives beat protocol, but she's not finished yet. Persia vows she won't take a single scratch. The team treks the swamp, Kraft picking the path with the fewest hydras to dodge a fight. That'll swarm us with every hydra in the district, Kraft reveals the plan. Levi hits the hydra head-on, Persia flanks right, and Jotaro snipes while Kraft waits as backup. They'll grab the herbs and bail, but Levi suddenly signals for silence. Hydra grabs the crocodile, crushing it in a death grip. The hybrid gulps the croc whole. A massive monster towers over the swamp. Hydra's lethal, Lifia orders high alert. Lefia charges the Hydra, and the beast is massive. The Hydra is massive, Kraft calls for a retreat, but Lefa shouts they can win, it's too late to run now. The massive monster towers over the girl. She jams her hammer under the monster's headbutt, stopping the beast cold. Kraft and Jotaro are stunned. She didn't flinch. What technique is she using? Leifos' crest is for crafting, but her combat skills prove years of training. Bodyguard ambushes from the side, her blade gleaming with fresh sharpening oil. Kraft doubts it'll stop the beast, but the girl unleashes her phoenix whirlwind. She cleaves its neck and blurs past, leaving only a shadow behind. The four watch in shock as the Hydra crumbles to pieces. Guard splashes down as neck shards fly into the mud. Jotaro watches in awe, stunned by the girl's power. The girl cheers as the potion works. Jotaro loots a magic stone, and Kraft thinks the kid looks just like a bandit. Lifia bursts into laughter. Her laughter spirals, and her friends are getting worried. She leaps up and bolts away at full speed. The crowd freezes in shock, but Knight yells to move and leads the charge. She's surprisingly fast, chasing him down while Kraft and Jotaro scramble behind. They reach the girls but find a total massacre waiting for them. Duo lunges, shredding another Hydra instantly before the stunned boys. The elixir keeps them fresh despite their heavy hits. Seeing their endless stamina, the monster flees. Lifia is certain this monster is trapped. Kraft and Jotaro stood back, watching the chaos unfold. They dodge the blow, fuming at her carelessness. Silence falls, mutilated hydras rot in the swamp. The team froze, eyes glued to the scene. Leha finally snaps out of it and spots the boys, paralyzed with fear. She smiles but regrets the plan change. Kraft nervously insists everything is fine. Leaning on her hammer, she finally gets revenge for the gnome village. Kraft backs her. Lifia thanks him for the opportunity. Knightess claims she's forced to fight, but her words ring hollow. She's just relieved the master isn't mad about the failed plan since they still got the herb. Kraft suspects Liffy was sent in spite, but he's wrong. Soon, everyone heads back to the village. He finally brews the legendary potion. Kyle can't take it untested, but with the village healthy, there's no one to try it on until a guard bursts in, demanding the potion he's been waiting. Hearing the news, she vows to brave the waterfall herself, risking sickness to save the others. Kraft processes the info. Asked if she's been this sick, her waterfall training keeps her standing, but it's not enough, until Kyle arrives to calm the crowd. Everyone stares in shock at Kyle's sudden arrival. They greet him, but he heads straight for the test tubes. He senses these potions were made just for him. Kyle thanks the young man. He snatches the bottle and downs it before anyone can stop him. Everyone's jaws drop in total disbelief. Too late to stop the boy, Lefia warns the potions are completely untested. Zero issues, he's got total faith in his skills. The boy's feeling better and everyone's thrilled. He gives Kraft a heartfelt thanks. The boy addresses the noble, dead serious. He demands the truth. The kid insists the potion actually worked. Kraft won't budge, demanding the truth from Kyle. Potion rumors spell disaster, and Kraft's words just broke the guard's fighting spirit. The master wasn't even sure the potion would save the boy. These herbs cure colds and flu. Most diseases are external, but Kyle was born with his. Kraft doubted the potion could cure his birth disease. The guard snaps at Kraft, refusing to believe Kyle is stuck like this forever. Hero drops a winning plan, silencing the room. Kraftern tells Kyle to wait on the elixirs, swearing he's done with the lies now that he's adjusted. The guard swaps brute force for pure skill. She apologizes for yelling, but says it's a totally natural reaction. She often leaves the village to Kraft, now taking a boy along. Lifia's stunned, the legendary potion failed. Doctors failed, so Kraft suspects a special disease. Healing magic can't fix hereditary diseases, but he still hoped for a miracle. There's another way, but it's much harder. Kyle stalls the disease with elixirs while the settlers expand the village. He's building his own adventurer guild here. The village needs elite defenders, making this a perfect fit. A potion can save Kyle, but swamp herbs are scarce and the ingredients are ultra-rare. This grass only grows in a total death zone, deep in the dragon's lair. Determined, the boy vows to cure Kyle. After a grueling trek through monster territory, the group nears a remote border village fearing it's abandoned, but one traveler secretly hopes to find someone special. Travelers swear they're ready for the toughest trials. They arrive to find a massive, thriving city they never expected. Massive buildings, spotless streets, and a brand new well nearby. Lifia meets the travelers. They're stunned. Is this village really only 6 months old? She darkly confirms it's true, adding she expects big things from the rookies. They're stunned. The village booms as settlers build a new guild. Suddenly, a voice screams, "Master, we have a problem." Meet Radak, a true adventurer. Craft's stunned. Former teammates reunite. The hero asks if Radak is here to guard the rookies and Radak confirms, but he's got a hidden agenda. Radak moves in for the job. Craft flinches. Radak is a sailor rank pro with a veteran crew. Craft wonders why they're in the middle of nowhere, but Radak explains, this place is crawling with monsters and the new village means they'll never run out of supplies. Radak admits he regrets Craft leaving Craft stunned and awkward. Hero wants a word with Radak. He remembers joining the squad at the start. Back when they were rookies, everything was perfect. His friends outpaced him and Craft couldn't keep up. Feeling like a burden, he finally quit the group. He hopped teams, but the result was always the same. Craft warns Radak this imbalance spells disaster, wondering if the hero knows his guild nickname, the self-proclaimed mage. Turns out hardly anyone took this seriously. They were nobodies, but they had a secret nickname. Craft mentored every rookie dreaming of becoming a true adventurer. His rookie teammates were too ashamed to even mention him. Craft was stunned, he'd never seen anything like it. Craft made them stars, but they still kicked him out. Now the guilt haunts them. Craft sees his days training rookies and traveling with friends in a new light. Everyone shunned him until they finally left him behind. The hero's stunned despite his self-doubt, the guild actually cares about him. Radak and his crew repaid Craft's kindness by developing his village. The boy offers a handshake. The village is booming, all thanks to the new Adventurers Guild. Monsters always swarm this place. Now adventurers flock here to hunt. The village is thriving, creating tons of new jobs. Population's exploding and every house is taken. The whole village teams up to expand the hotel. Plus, a new potion and weapon shop opened, and it's already swarming with people. Adventurers swarm the shop, leaving the owner stunned. She's never seen a crowd this big and has no clue where to start. All eyes are on her, hanging on every word. Craft watches from the sidelines, realizing the crowd is only here for Silura. The atmosphere is electric until a voice calls his name. Little Kyle leads the hero to the negotiation room. Craft pours tea, sensing trouble. The man demands a serious talk, flanked by his sister and the guard, Belcia. Craft realizes the village needs a name, catching him completely off guard. He had no clue the place was nameless. Every past settlement failed, so Craft suggests naming it after their leader, Kayla Village. Alfred and Belchier agree, but Craft's out of ideas. He admits Kyle's fame is undisputed. Belchier's hyped, but Kyle insists they built this village together. Newcomers accelerate growth. He doubts naming the village after himself, but Craft insists it's perfect, suggesting a group vote and asking Belcia for her take. She won't budge. Kayla is the only way. Hero turns to Mina and suggests an even worse name, Craft Village. Kyle likes the name, but Craft suggests Lifia instead. He deserves the credit, and even Belgium agrees when a sudden knock hits the door. Lifia walks in on Craft and Belty debating village leadership. She tries to sneak out, but Craft spots her and calls her in. She solved the problem and jumped into the creative work. She names it Twilight Village, but the others think it sounds too gloomy. Little do they know, the name is a direct match for the MC's coat of arms. He's no ordinary alchemist, he's a dark alchemist, and his powers are the reason this village is thriving. Kyle likes the name, Craft hates it, and Belcia warns the sunset signals doom. Kyle's next choice, Dun Village. The name marks a new journey, perfect for a border town. Belcia agrees since Kyle suggested it. Consulting Mina, the boy names the village Golden Dawn. Everyone cheers for Kyle, leaving Craft completely ignored. Hearing only the boy, the hero grabs the papers and tells Lifa he's naming the village after the Craft. Moments later, Craft sees his opening. He walks up and speaks to Lifa. Hero's finally hitting the mines for iron, copper, mithril, and adamantite, inviting Lifia along as he points out the spot on his map. The Craftsman Guild predicts rare minerals here, and Liffy from Franz is locked in, eyes glued to the map. Crep warns the forest is crawling with monsters. Liffia finally sees why the village needs adventurers. Hire guild escorts with the village budget. Mining this ore is gonna take a while. Better steel and sharpening potions make lock picks faster, while Liffia's dwarven instincts find the ore. The hero tries something new while Liffy watches. She hates his secrets but Kraft's keeping quiet. They're finally ready. Radic thanks Kraft for the quest. Kraft claims he only picked the village's best, yet somehow Jatara tagged along uninvited. The team hits the road to find the ore. First step to save Kyle, Redick asks why Liffy is eyeing Kraft, but he's brushed off. Joining Radak's squad to hunt rare metals, the leader introduces him to the team. He bears the swordsman's mark and stuns the room, revealing he was once Kraft's teammate. Meet Elgal, the group's gloomy local scout. Kraft greets her. They met in the village but haven't actually spoken yet. Smiling, they confess their joy at meeting. Kraft fell for her while adventuring together, but he knew it would never work. She loves Radak, so he brushes it off, but meeting again, that's weird. Redick introduces the squad: Priest Be, Wizard Bardek, and Warrior Morda. Kraft knows them both. The Chaos Mage is a beast, wielding massive power despite lacking a family crest. This mug's stronger than any human. It's silent but tells you everything you need to know. Jotaro cuts in, loudly announcing he's a young hunter, who asks a guy if he got dumped right away. Rare. Offended over his best outfit, Radak says he looks like a legendary bandit, but Jotaro isn't buying it. Pushing deep into the forest, the group desperately battles monsters at every turn. Radak asks to loot the monsters' magic stones and materials. Lithia nods, it's all theirs. Kraft praises the party, they've shattered his expectations. The warrior and ranger credit their win to endurance potions, leaving the mage jealous, until the craftsman reveals he's got a secret gift ready for him. Mana potion. Kraft hands over the Bardock. The crowd goes wild for this pricey legendary item. Redick claims they can drop a cyclops, but Life fears he just jinxed their luck. Travelers spot a nearby cave. Pendulum detects a mother lode, forcing the heroes inside. Mage and alchemist summon light orbs, warriors grab torches, and the heroes charge into the dark cave. They push deeper into the cave. Water drips and lizards scurry through a corridor so tight two people can barely pass. Liffia scans the soil and guarantees there's ore, leaving Kraft totally baffled. Dwarf Liffia spots ores even in total darkness. Liffia scouts the ground as they descend, the team praying it hasn't become a dungeon yet. Redick senses no dungeon aura, it's just a normal cave. Otherworldly dungeons crawl with monsters, but they're packed with rare loot. The hallway opens up. The heroes face 3 stone lizards with nearly impenetrable skin. The party regrouped and launched a coordinated strike. The lizard's claw slams the warrior's shield. The ranger draws his bow, praying his arrows are soaked in sharpness oil. The arrow nails the lizard's forehead, dropping it instantly. Fired up, the adventurers scour the cave. The lizard fight rages on. The warrior shielded the ranger as they teamed up. Fight's over, confirmed, the lizards are finished. Grab the gear and move out. Kraft's impressed, this crew is a solid team. Kraft nostalgically looks back on his own adventuring days. Radak crushed the lizards easily, proving his veteran skills are the real deal. Both admit hot oil played its part. True mastery is rare, and the heroes all for it. Renek's priest wants to test his skills too, but the team puts it on hold. Leffa spots a change in the ground. She's found ore deposits. Mithral's here too, but in limited supply. The artifact lures her deep into the cave, and she admits she wants in. They find a spot and she cheers in delight. The massive cave glows with crystal ore. He ditches caution and charges straight at them. Lithian never expected a mithril haul this massive, especially not here. Everyone cheers for the girl until a sudden loud bang erupts. A glowing eye flashes in the dark. Kraft charges, shouting for Liffia to get back. Cyclops roars and she screams in terror. A monster looms from the shadows, striking pure terror into the heroes. The boys scream for Liffy to return, their voices shaking with terror. The traveler finally uncovers his true identity. Meet the Cyclops. The monster towers over her, but Lisha stares it straight in the eyes. Redick charges the monster and shields the girl. He orders Liffia and Sarai to retreat, keeping Mord behind for backup. Bardek unleashes full magic while BEP backs him up. The duo strikes in perfect sync. Mordes lands a massive blow, but Kraft instantly senses something's wrong. Cyclops leaps back, dodging the blow. The beast rears back, unleashing a massive roar. He strikes himself, letting the guys escape as the face shields the blow. The warrior's lifeless body flies back. BEP screams his name, but a hand bearing a coat of arms suddenly grips his shoulder. The alchemist orders the warriors to keep fighting, promising to heal the wounded with his potions. He leans over the fallen mortar, pulls a hidden potion and downs it. The warrior snaps back, his strength surging. He leaps up and charges, striking instantly. The crowd's stunned. He's recovered faster than any veteran thought possible. The Cyclops is fast. Redak orders Sorala to snipe the eye. Mort pummels the Cyclops, but she calls it impossible. The beast is just too fast. Cyclops leaps back, retreating once more. The monster is a beast. Redox knows it's a total slaughter. Kraft's out of options. Fire and wind are too risky, his earth magic is weak, and he's forgotten every area attack. He gets an idea. The alchemist raises his hand and snowflakes swirl. All eyes on the hero, the crowd stunned, blown away by his move. Kraft manifests a long object. New move, Icy Fang Dart. He hurls it straight at the monster. Magic blasts through the monster's chest. Cyclops winces. Crowd stunned by this unseen magic as frost slowly coats the impact site. Redak rallies his team. Sorai targets the eye while Redak and Mordor charge the Cyclops. He unleashes the Storm Sword and the Wolf's devastating blow. Warriors charge the Cyclops, landing devastating hits. Sorrel pulls the trigger, landing a perfect hit. The monster freezes and tilts. Redak sees the fall coming and orders a retreat before they're crushed. The Cyclops is down, rusty arrow in the eye, precision bolt through the chest. Finally, the job's done. Overjoyed, they hug Kraft to thank him for all his help. Lafia cheers as the travelers crush a powerful beast. Kraft praised Redak for the perfect result, but Redak disagreed. Reddick claims skill alone took down the monster. Reddix praises the alchemist's insane magic. Sorrel agrees they only landed the final blow. Hearing this, the hero rejoices. Kraft's magic finally came in clutch for his friends. Caves clear, Lisha dives into mining while the rest harvest the monster's remains. They get straight to it. The travelers confirmed they had the materials, but the monster's stench was unbearable. Suddenly, someone yelled for the master to start working. Lafia waves her pickaxe, inviting the hero to mine ore together. Inspired, she crushes it solo. 4 barrels of ore secured, but Lydia's still hungry for more. More treasure waits inside, but her pickaxe is useless against this rock. Rafe preps his new weapon as Lifia glares in disgust. He tells her it's a magic explosion. If he doesn't hold back, his power obliterates everything. Lifia knows this ends in disaster. His bombs only detonate on command, but the trigger isn't the point. She's terrified of the blast. Kraft grins, boasting he's never lost and won't start now. An adventurer asks about the MC's plan, but Lafiel barks at everyone to back off. She orders everyone behind the rocks while Kraft reassures them. Gitaro's hyped for the hero's new invention, but Lithia wants no part of the show. Kraft's a magic master, but Lithia's certain the hero is totally irrational. Only Saru's convinced, the rest swarm Kraft, eyeing her new gear. Kraft starts the countdown, calling out Lafayette's obvious nerves. He covers his ears and starts counting while the girls watch him warily from behind the stones. The explosion was finally about to blow. Suddenly, a massive explosion thunders. Even the girls hiding behind the stones felt the shockwave. They spot the adventurers and their aircraft blasted away by a massive explosion. Smoke swirls everywhere and all you hear is coughing. Lithia spots Kraft gasping through the smoke and calls out. Kraft's glad he didn't pull this on the Cyclops, but she's sure he's finally crossed the line. Kraft distracts Lithia, pointing to sparkling crystals in a crack. More ore to mine. Kraft's risky explosion paid off. Lithia explains that rigged correctly, explosives can blast through even the toughest stone. Kraft's amazed she reached this point with just one bomb, but she won't let him dodge the topic. She says the jokes are over as a strange sound echoes behind him. Furious adventurers emerge from the dust, demanding an urgent word with the hero. Kraft knelt for 2 hours of safety drills, instantly torching all his hard-earned trust. Days later, they return to a hero's welcome. The village celebrates the Cyclops' defeat while kids swarm them, asking if they found the mithril. To them, it was basically a holiday. The boy greets Kraft as Maine quietly sits beside him. He greets him back, then the young man asks for Lefen's location. Stunned by the mithril, the merchants demand a sale, but Lefond holds them back. That explains the delay. Traders are desperate for mithril and will pay any price. Kyle delays the report for Lafon. The hero agrees and the girl sits by him. She used to be Kyle's shadow, but now she won't even look him in the eye. Liffen finally arrives, blaming a merchant mob for her lateness, but Kraft instantly spots her messy hair. Liffen pivots to the report. They explore the target cave, encountering stone lizards, ghost lights, and giant woodlice. Kyle warns the cave is dangerous, but the girl reveals they still scored a massive ore haul for 5 key reasons. First, magic explosives. Second, sharpness oil. Third, special storage. Fourth, a reliable escort. Kraft ends her story. The fifth reason is life felt through the hands. She thanks Redax for the fast, clean job. The endurance potion was vital. Without it, they'd never survive the Cyclops, the beast nicknamed the Adventurer Killer. Cyclops hunt to the death, slaughtering the reckless. Kyle's glad they survived, but Kraft's already eyeing the mithril. He saw someone beat him to it, sending the girl into a cold sweat. Kyle keeps him grounded and Leifon agrees. Mithril tech just evolved, letting every master smith use it. Now demand is through the roof. Wait for the price to peak before selling. Kraft also asks a favor, sell gear to the new local adventurers. Kyle S. in time to plan. Redox's earnings mean instant gear upgrades. Ifin starts forging mithril tomorrow. Kraft has other business with the girl. Let's stick to the most direct version. Liffin starts forging mithril at dawn. Days later, Lefun finds the boy. She finished the job and called him over to see. She wants him and the hero dreams of her too. He's dying to see her and she knows it. Leifun shows the boy an alchemy cauldron. He inspected the item and grinned. It was wonderful. Even the engraving was stunning. Pure art, she's a master. She suggests the alchemy room over storage. The hero grabs it and the air starts crackling. Kraft suddenly collapses. Leffen rushes to help, but Kraft explains that touching him just triggered a massive information overload. She saw this before with her first special anvil. It shocked her. Does the Master's emblem have hidden powers? His head nearly burst from the massive info dump, but the timing was perfect time to test the kettle. Kraft pours the liquids and carefully stirs the cauldron. Everything inside shimmered, and Liffon was mesmerized by the beauty. He unleashes magic, blinding the room. She asks if it's ready and he grins. It's a success. Apply this oil to high-grade mithril to forge solid mithril, a metal a whole tier stronger. Leifon's analysis guarantees top-tier metal, so the team tests it immediately. She returns with huge news. She's forging a new hammer and anvil and just mastered the secrets of weapon making. She's mastered skills she never had. Kraft calls her incredible, but she insists he's the real legend. They're in his debt and she thanked him. Flustered, he tried to play it off as an accident, but seeing her happy made him smile too. Lefond pitched a new project, burying her in work, and that's 2 months pass with 0 incidents. Knight proves he's been there, showing Kraft an ambrosia flower. Kyle asks if it's the legendary flower. Kraft admits he asked Redek directly to see if it was real. Girl watches the hero by the wall while he stares dreamily at the ambrosia flower. Night falls and they've finally found the spot. The main path takes days, but the right road gets them there in just 2. Kraft asks about endurance potions. Turns out they're already outrunning horses at full gallop. Normally a month-long trek. The man asks if he's been. The knight nods. They'd scouted close while staying hidden. Crowd stunned. No feathers, just green skin. He's a literal green dragon. Crafts notes they're lucky the enemy's grounded. Rumors claim he has insane defense and power, but intel makes any fight simple. Boy had to confirm one thing. Kyle asks if they're plotting his defeat. Kraft nods, something like that. They plot to slay the dragon, but Kyle calls it suicide, questioning why they're even fighting. Hero needs more flowers. They're the key to Kyle's medicine and the elixir. Kraft vowed to slay the dragon, brew the flowers elixir, and save Kyle. Everyone celebrated Kyle's cure, but he just smiled sadly. Not even a hero could save him. He won't let this happen. No more sacrifices for his sake. This plan is dead. Kraft expected this. Kyle shuts it down. They risk their lives daily. She's ready to die for him and he knows it. He won't risk a cure if it endangers others. If anyone gets hurt because of him, he'll never forgive himself. Kraft calls him a great caring leader. The hero says it's for everyone. The kid's lost, so the hero tells him to study the map. The dragon's lair sits right in the path of their new road. The village needs a road to the city and neighboring countries, but they can't build a thing until the dragon is dead. When they slay the dragon, armies flee from these beasts, but Kraft says they have a shot. The world's best hunters gathered here, so he built a guild. They're strong enough to crush any threat. Armed with herbs and mithril ammo, they're safe. Alfred trusts Kyle to stop any disaster, but Kraft has one more reason. 2 elixirs, 1 for Baylord. That's a massive achievement for Kyle. Alfred and the girl echoed the hero's words on phantom medicine and sacrifice while Kyle watched closely. Helping Mr. Kyle score a major win fired them up with confidence. Desperate and trembling, the boy begs for time until Kraft promises a legendary elixir to save Kyle, a feat never seen before. Alfred and the girl back the plan, but Kyle tells them to hold on. He intercepts them and demands silence, shutting them down instantly. He doesn't want fame or medicine, he just wants to stop others from suffering because of him. He couldn't take it, begging them not to risk their lives. The boy broke down in tears. The servants were frantic, so Kraft apologized to Kyle for the scare. He pat his head, promising to spill the secret plan. They hit the street. Jotaro confirms they're ready, and with plenty of room, the boy begins. Everyone knows what's about to go down. He cut her off, dismissing her opinion and claiming he and Jotaro double-checked everything to calm Kyle, then begged her to understand. Kraft tells Kyle to watch closely. Something incredible is coming as Jotaro draws his bow. A massive explosion erupts. Everyone's stunned. He just triggered a massive explosion with nothing but a bow and arrow. Hiro asks about the blast, but the guy only knows the reports. Now they've got upgraded explosive arrows. If they can't reach the target, they'll just snipe it. Leifon's mithril bows fire effortless high-power shots. Their massive range keeps enemies at bay, terrified of getting sniped before they even get close. Kyle's hyped for the weapon, and the knights sure this edge secures their victory. Else begs the master to let her join the fight. 86. Alfred asks too. The knights pressure him to agree, but the boy freezes, speechless. Kraft tells the child not to resist, swearing he loves her. The whole village knows he's sick. Everyone's hunting for a cure, but they stay silent, terrified their efforts are all for nothing. Everyone rallied behind him. Kraft begs Kyle to let them save him. The boy breaks down, admitting he acted shamefully out of love, terrified that his choice alone decides who lives or dies. As village head, he needs more power. He gives his consent. In exchange, they swear to return in one piece. They promised. Everything was ready. The day is finally here, time to slay the dragon. Kraft hits the street as the crowd parts. He asks if they're all here to slay the dragon, but the knight explains that just showing up earns them massive glory. They're eager to help him and Kyle. Everything clicked. Kraft saw their resolve, felt it himself, and finally understood. Helping felt great. Leifon told the boy to trust them with the village, and the boy smiled, putting his faith in them. He whips around. Mina grabs his cloak. He asks what's wrong, but she just begs him to return safely, promising to wait. He strokes her head, promising everything's fine and he'll definitely be back. The adventurer finally sets off. The team heads out, determined to slay the dragon. The adventurer scoped the dragon, and what he saw shook him to his core. The green dragon is massive. His power radiates even from afar. The knight met him before, but now he's pure terror. He asked the craftsman if everything was ready. He agreed it was time to start. The boy commands the adventurers to listen. Phase 1 starts now. If they fail, release them. There's no point fighting once you've hit your limit. They charge the dragon. The dragon spots the party. Suddenly he roared to begin. They charge in screaming. The knight pushes forward and Belsi acknowledges. The boy unleashes swift strike, but Belsi counters with quick heavenly slash. Adventurers swarm the dragon, striking from every angle. The adventurers glared at the dragon with pure hate. He spotted blood on the dragon. The knight drives them forward, fueling their relentless energy. The dragon rears its head and Kraft shouts a warning. Fire breath is coming. He steps forward and stops right before the fire. He hits the ground, summoning giant earth rampart. The monster bursts from behind the wall. He remembers the plan. Sensing the enemy's breath, the hero instantly shields himself with magic. Trapped, the dragon is engulfed by flames bouncing off the walls. The wall cracks, the hero grits his teeth, it won't hold. Night falls, everyone preps the explosives. Warriors aimed and loosed a volley at the dragon. Blast echoes as the dragon erupts with a roar. He's in pain. Belchia yells it's working, the beast is weakening. At night the screams close in, crushing him from every side. They unleash their full arsenal, holding nothing back. Suddenly the dragon lunges and roars, blinding the party in a flash of light. They're stunned as the dragon's horns ignite. It's charging another blast, brace yourselves. Nothing happens, the dragon just stands there staring at the sky. Kraft realizes nothing happened, so why the magic circle? Some called it a bluff, while others braced for the next terrifying strike. The arrow freezes midair, blocked by an invisible barrier. The wizard strikes, but his magic vanishes midair. The spell failed again. Kraft paused, dissecting every detail. He realized it was protection magic. Hero yells to Redak, this light erases all magic, even explosions. If that's true, its full power is a total mystery. Redix orders a retreat. The dragon stirs, inhaling for a blast. Kraft realizes no wall or distance can save them. He kept screaming for them to run away as fast as possible. His friends were counting on him, he wouldn't let them die. Kraft faces Redak and BEP. He demands a show of skill, no time for talk. I lunged, grabbed his shoulder and shoved his back. He shrieked in pain. He rolls clear as the dragon blasts fire. Kraft lands, reactivating the great earth mine. A massive wall erupts, blocking the dragon's flames. He almost failed, but he pulled it off. They can't beat him, it's useless. They can't kill the dragon, retreating is a death trap, but I see the ending, the hero is taking the stage. She asks for the dragon's weaknesses. Strip his horns and he can't neutralize magic. She tells him to tilt his head down, but he's totally lost on what they want from him. Elchia Fomagut says she'll handle it herself. Eltz orders the head pinned down to slice off its horn. He waits for her lead, but the dragon nukes his magic. She strikes, leaving him clueless until he spots an explosive arrow. He remembered the dragon getting hit. The arrow struck but didn't explode. Since it was a magic attack, it should have been blocked instantly. Physical attacks work, they've still got a shot. He hesitates, but Reddit calls out to the hero from the crowd. Take every opening, or things only get worse. He was ready to die from the start, a small price to slay the dragon. He faced his comrades, clenched his fist, and begged for forgiveness. One breath, he yells, they have to endure until the end, and his team agrees. He trusts them, when it counts he'll pool all his magic. He and Bardock still have magic, exposing a fatal flaw in dragon magic's destruction. It only works within range. They've got a chance, Ridoka screams, the dragon is about to breathe fire. The knights hold firm as Bardock and Kraft activate fire protection and a massive earth shield. They team up to battle the dragon. Beast breathes fire, closing in on the heroes. They fought the fire with everything, but even the full Redox group barely survived that massive blast. Bardock approaches Kraft, but Kraft strikes him instantly. He apologizes and checks if his friends are okay. Desperate adventurers emerge from the smoke. They weren't done yet. A girl sees the dragon inhaling for another blast, but the hero sighs, it's already too late. A massive rock looms over the dragon. This is the opening his friends fought to give him. He's not letting her escape, hurling a rock straight at the dragon. A massive boulder slams down, crushing the dragon. Magic fails, so he crafts a stone shepherd, and the creature bows. Kraft yells for Belsi to move and tosses her a potion. He caught a drop and downed it. This special potion temporarily shatters your human limits. This breakthrough potion is a guaranteed success. She rockets skyward and instantly slices off the dragon's horns. He screams, foaming at the mouth. She plummets, he screams her name, but she tells him to ignore her and slay the dragon. Kraft shouts the defense is broken, everyone full power. The adventurers strike again, it's the finale. Kraft calls down thunder, Redak hurls a massive rock and the dragon knows he's finished. Battle rages. The peasant waited, hoping for the heroes to return. Seeing them wrecked, everyone knew they lost. Kraft announces they're already back. Kyle tackles the hero in a hug, ecstatic he's alive. The young man stunned by the raw sincerity. Lefond dives into his arms, telling the group he's suffered enough and she's just glad he's finally home. He tried to confess, but they tearfully cut him off. He's alive and that's all that matters. 0 casualties, retreating takes guts and they fought with honor. The hero skipped the talk to show them everything in action. He grabbed the victory proof from storage. A massive trophy drops from the dragon. Kraft stashes the heavy loot, leaving the crowd stunned by his raw power and calm. Leifan collapses in pure horror. Blindsided by the sudden chaos, the hero apologized. He never saw this ending coming. Seeing the dragon's severed head in the square, Leifan snaps. She stays quiet, telling him to see things from her side. Kraft, already kneeling, apologizes. He didn't expect the shock, but Mina suddenly hops onto his lap. He politely asks her to move before his legs go numb. He thought the sweet girl wanted to sit on his lap, so our hero let her stay. Al told him to focus and spill everything. Kraft agreed and broke down the fight. They killed the dragon with 0 losses, though their gear was trashed. Liffen was shocked. How did they win without a single casualty? They secured the ambrosia and rare herbs, but the dragon was the real mission. The plants were just a bonus. They found rare ores and magic loot, treasures every adventurer would kill for, so Kyle let Lafon handle the negotiations personally. Reddit knows the battle details. The hero keeps talking as Mina settles on his lap. At sunset, the heroes gather at the dragon's victory plaque, but the boy still doesn't grasp the name's true meaning. Everyone's decorating the hall around a severed dragon head. Kraft suspects a dark ritual is brewing. Kyle took the stage and silenced the crowd, announcing that together, they'd finally slain a border beast. The unconquerable lands of monsters are finally tamed. With the dragon dead, humanity can expand, and he thanks the settlers, adventurers, and Golden Dawn residents for this massive victory. He says skip the wait and celebrate the dragon kill now. He raised his glass, proposing a toast. Villagers party and push drinks on each other until a stranger suddenly approaches the hero. Wait, addresses is in the original, approaches is close, but Riddick asks if the letter's finished, but his friend isn't drunk enough to write it yet, making for a strange night. He's the sole reason they won this time. Kraft claims he did his best, but Redox reveals his master plan prepped the case, the team, and the gear. It all came down to one reason. Kraft stared at the mark on his hand, unable to find the words to thank her. Reddit agrees he'd pull it off even without that cross. Without these adventurers, they were doomed. The night was perfect. Watching Kyle drink and chat with the locals, the hero smiles. Kyle really did this all on his own. Reddick was right, this victory was all him. Kraft sat stargazing on the grass until he heard someone approaching. Leifon admitted he'd drunk too much. The girl laughed and sat beside him. Staring out, she asks the boy, "With the dragon gone, are the attacks finally over?" Shocked, he stared at her and confirmed she was right. He adds they've at least slashed the risk. Raven rejoiced, it was finally over. She drifts off against him, sobbing for her parents in her dreams. The hero stayed still, refusing to wake his friend. Days later, Kraft announces the elixir is finally ready. Kyle and Mina find a small jar. Kyle asks if it's cream and Mina confirms it is. He had to eat it, swallow it whole. Alfred from Belcio was left speechless. Kyle's illness is internal, proven by his cross. Belcia warns of the risks as Kyle swallows the cream. Alfred and Belcia swarm him with questions, but the hero tells them to relax. He thought life was still sweet and normal, but a sudden dread hit him. Now, restless nights have him wondering, is everything actually falling apart? Tears welled in the boy's eyes, leaving everyone baffled. Kyle's pain and joy vanished instantly like they never existed. It's all in the past now. The boy wails. Belcio pulls him into a hug, calming him down. She always knew this day would come. She beamed with joy, and Alfred burst into tears. Hero slips out quietly. Alfred follows. Bowing low, the man thanks the boy for saving Kyle and asks how to repay him. Words aren't enough. The medicine worked perfectly and the Lord recovered, but they're still desperate for one more bottle. Just one more, 256. Kyle's full recovery is the goal, and Kraft insists a cure is still possible. Tons of elixir left, he's stunned. He reveals his dragon-slaying haul. 129 bottles of ability-boosting Suri and 73 bottles of Amrita, which de-ages you by a year. Plus 47 bottles of elixir. Kyle wonders if he's wrong, feeling his tears were wasted. Belcia snaps, but Kyle admits he overdid it. These rare potions are worth a fortune. Kraft knew trouble was unavoidable, so he dumped the whole mess on Margrave Baylord. Alfred, Belcia, and Kyle are stunned by what they see. Kyle's father, Baylor, was reviewing documents when his eldest son turned to him. The man greets Zaid. Kyle just sent a message. Kyle sounded arrogant, but he's actually buried in settlement trouble. The kid asks if his brother cried, yet Baylorid says no. Kyle sent something insane. He grabs the package from his brother, completely floored by what's inside. Dragon slain, they bring the Margrave a legendary elixir made from healing herbs. They're closing in on the Margrave's lands. Kraft patted Kyle's shoulder, asking him to share his wins. Fired up, the boy agreed. Kraft witnesses an epic panorama unfold. Kyle returns to Hendenaru after years, remembering his brother's visit. But when he calls the hero his brother, everyone is stunned. Kyle apologized for his blunder and swore silence, but Belcia's icy glare sent him panicking to claim it was all a misunderstanding. Hero remembers Kyle's offer of brotherhood, but Belcia screams at him to know his place and refuse. They reach the Margrave city, a bustling hub of knowledge. Kyle notes the capital is even more packed, but here, gates stay open with zero fees for the endless travelers. The hunter regrets not coming sooner, so they start exploring. Kraft doesn't wait, he barges in and sits by the noble like he owns the place. This guy's boldness is next level. Belcia says the hero needs to embrace his natural boldness. The heroes ditch the crew. Guards ask about Baylord. Kraft questions them, the girl identifies them as gatekeepers, and Alfred confirms the connection. Guards suggest a detour to dodge the crowds. Alfred thanks them just as Kyle steps out of the carriage to do the same. Everyone was stunned. Guards recognize Kyle and salute. He looked great and confirmed a full recovery. The men cheered, the village air clearly worked wonders. Alfred's back for a moment, and the guards swear to stay silent. The hero's carriage rolls forward as the hunter admires the scenery. They reach Kyle's house. He admits he's lived in the country since childhood, confirming the hunter's theory that nobles are rarely home, but suddenly Leifon snaps at him. Kyle tells everyone not to worry. Thanks to them, he can give his dad a perfect report, and he thanks them all. The hunter saw the boy's kindness, and Belcia instantly agreed. Kraft realized she couldn't hide her feelings anymore. Leifon heads inside. The hero regrets bringing the carriage into the ruler's land. He tells Mina to stand, but she refuses. Leifon's falling for him, but he's clueless why she's still so stubborn. Gates open, the squad charges straight into the unknown. Heroes celebrate their loot, but a shadow watches from the window. Zaid hits Frantina. Inside the mansion, the crew waited for the next move. Macgrave Baylor, Zaid's second son and Fratton's eldest, sat before them and greeted the guests. Margaret finds Kyle's response intriguing. Is he really here to explain everything? He confirmed, itching to meet face-to-face and drop some major info. Baylor tries to talk potions, but Kyle flips the script, demanding to see them instead. He asks if he's being dumped but instantly regrets his tone. Facing a noble lord is pure pressure. Hero reveals 44 elixirs, 129 suras and 73 amritas, leaving Kyle's family stunned by the massive haul. He brought back an insane mountain of loot. Kyle couldn't handle it all, so he handed the treasure to his dad. This was no easy feat. He'd hit a massive goal and deserved to be proud. Kyle thanked his father. Margraf warns, gift the king's loot or selling it all will crash the economy. The potion is just circumstantial. Does he have any hard proof for the dragon's murder? Kyle claims they took the dragon's head, but the man is shocked they don't even have a cart. It's in craft storage. The man points at the hero, who's totally lost, while the youngest son can't believe his ears. Zane finally gets it. The dragon is just a lizard. Kyle's learned to boast like a true noble. Craft knew the storage was too small. Margraf suggested the backyard, but Kyle said it's still not enough space. One son suggests the high-traffic front garden, knowing its massive size will stun the locals. Zaid's driving everyone insane. Alfred and Belcia would have killed him if he wasn't Kyle's brother, so Kraft asks the Margrave for permission to speak. He said it wasn't enough, the flowers would be crushed anyway. Zaid just laughed. He cleared the plan, Baylor gave the green light and the kids thanked him. Kraft heads to the front yard to free the dragon's head. Count's family watched from the window. He saw them and sighed in relief. The boy awakens a special magic. His voice boomed like a loudspeaker, demanding attention. LaFan was stunned. He sounded like he was standing right next to her. The hero says Lord Kyle Baylord, the Margrave's third son, just pulled off a legendary feat. He settled in monster territory and led them to slay a massive beast. Words weren't enough, so he offered to show them the truth instead. Everyone hailed Kyle, the young ruler, until he pulled out the dragon's head. The massive head barely fit the yard, leaving everyone frozen in disbelief. Kyle's got everyone hooked. Facing the scariest monster yet, Kyle proves he's a beast. The man's relieved this master is an ally as the crowd's hype explodes. He scanned Kyle's crew. Zaid was stunned, but Belcy and Liffen figured he was just exaggerating again. He realized he'd screwed up again. Crowds swarmed the dragon's head as guards barked orders. Look, but don't stop, keep moving. The steward leads Kraft past guards venting about the chaos. They weren't warned and now they're drowning in work, with one even apologizing for the mess. The hero joins the Margrave's lunch, and the son suggests charging tourists to see their dragon head trophy. Baylor warns it's a powder keg without prep. Keep the wind quiet and let Fomalhaut handle the fallout. Kraft knew the protocol instantly, but Belcia looked away, visibly annoyed. Dad praises Kyle's dragon care and thanks the team. The settlement hit 1,000 people, but Kyle warns they're facing a massive housing crisis. They were full, he'd surpassed every limit. Suddenly, screams erupted. The dining room door bursts open, and all eyes snap toward it. Two girls enter, shyly apologizing for the interruption. Margrave demands a serious talk, but Vila just smirks and laughs. She knew this was coming. She shouldn't have butt in, but she had to speak up. Kyle calls Kraft. He introduces Vila, his second love turned first wife, and their daughter Relaz, Zaida's mother. Vila insists it's fine, and the man agrees. Vila hypes Kyle's achievements, leaving the boy blushing and confused by the sudden praise. The boy thanks her. Kraft's baffled. The kid looks happier now than when his own dad praised him. The new generation is outgrowing Kyle fast. The woman keeps that truth to herself, but luckily, the new settlement is right on Zed's border. He's a proven leader. Vila suggests moving the Zaid settlement. Everyone was stunned. His lands look close on the map, but a massive territory actually splits them. It makes zero sense. Vila says the meds cured Kyle's weakness. Shouldn't he be in Gandhara helping her? She sounds convincing, but she's just abusing her power for her son. It's obvious, and Zaid's just backing her up. Kraft saw they were exploiting Kyle's perks. Zed says he only helped him settle, but now that Kyle's recovered, the worry is over. He leaves the rest to his brother. The kid laughs and Freight makes his pitch. Forget Mom's advice, let Zaid run this settlement and build Kyle a new one. Margrave demands the map, and the steward snaps it onto the table. LaFawn's stunned by the detailed map. Kraft suspects it's the aristocrats' secret weapon and plans to show them, while Freighton scouts a better spot for Kyle. He points near the dragon. Nestled between the Tibetan Empire, the Xevious Federation, and several small states, it's the perfect place to build. Kyle's a natural at building settlements. Let's give him a shot and send him in, Vila tells Fraten. She questions her son's strength, but he warns that even Zaid can't handle this mission while searching for a new home. Kyle's building another settlement just like before, and his sister thinks the plan is perfect. Start them together to finally prove who's the best. Dead silence, the Margrave sits laser-focused. The villa calls this Kyle's chance to prove his success wasn't a fluke, sending Kraft into a rage over the doubt. He still took the deal. Alfred, Belchia, and Liffen are stunned, but Zaid just laughs, calling his brother a genius. Kyle sets 2 conditions. He demanded the name Golden Star. His brother smiled while Dad asked for the second condition. He'd been through everything with these villagers since starting his craft. Kyle brought everyone who wanted in. Peasants are usually forbidden from leaving home, but this village is an exception. Vila refuses to let them loot the village, and Kyle is livid. He says they lack the resources to move, but she shuts him down. There's no other choice. He understood, asking that guilds and individuals keep their gear. Baylord asks if they're ready, and Kyle confirms everything is under control. Zaid says it's all decided. Kyle's finally acting like a real noble. Kraft asks why he agreed. Kyle just winks. The meeting wraps up. Margrave summons Kraft for a private meeting later, catching the young man completely off guard. Kraft hits the meeting spot, hyped. Baylord nods, gesturing for him to sit. Clutching his tea, the boy feels the tension under the Margrave's heavy gaze. Paralyzed by fear, he silently begs the Margrave to speak until he finally snaps, blurting out the truth. He's the alchemist of Twilight. The kid's medical skills were the real deal. After a quick thanks, Baylor asked if he'd heard of Yarvel Galian. Yevril is the nation's top alchemist, a medical genius who revolutionized farming. Even the hero has studied her legendary books. He pictured her in his mind. Yarvel serves Zeta and she wants him specifically. The hero's baffled, why him? Baylor reveals her estate and Kraft cuts the talk. Sensing his nerves, the Margrave suddenly asks him to protect Kyle. He spun around shocked but still agreed. The crew hits the Jervel estate, finding a dark house shrouded in shadows and unease. Suddenly the statue awakens and points the boy the way. Kraft stunned by a man-made monster. Only master alchemy could pull this off. Yarvel is truly capable of anything. The statue announces Kraft's arrival, but the lady snaps he's late and orders him inside. The boy greets him, then realizes in shock it's Jarvel. She spins around, declaring she's one of a kind. Her name is Javrilia, and the guy's stunned to see she's just a little girl. Jewel introduces herself and asks if he's really Kraft. He confirms it. Kraft Walken knows her infamous reputation. He studied her work and is hyped to finally meet her, grabbing her hands. The boy apologized, overwhelmed with joy. Jaffaril understood, despite his age. The boy spots something strange, Master Jarvel's river-purifying invention, the Ranbik. Kraft finally sees him in person. She notices his sharp eye for detail and he thanks her. Her books were a goldmine for his medicine. He'd give anything to be her student. She paused, then whispered his name. He flinched. Javril promised to train him, but only as a special favor. One catch, she knows His Excellency's miracle medicine saved Kyle. To prove his worth, she needs the recipe, so Kraft hands it over instantly, catching her completely off guard. Shocked he had it in his pocket, she starts reading immediately. She studied the recipe and claimed it as theirs. Craftsman thanked his mentor. He dreams of living and studying by her side, but he's stuck in the settlement. Javril's still under guild contract. Since she works for Zaid and lives on his land, he asks if she's moving too. Kraft fills her in. Clutching her head, she orders Zaid to the Golden Dawn settlement immediately. That was enough. She realized the teacher was struggling too, bound by a guild contract instead of Kyle's. He was powerless, but he still chose to follow. Javel suggests talking to the guild, but if things go south, she's got his back. Javel's inspired. Her devotion to her student makes his past research help look like nothing. This moment is on a whole new level. She rereads his recipe and asks if it's published. He just stares back, stunned. He asks what it means, shocking her. How has he never heard of an academy? He spread his knowledge worldwide, but she helped build the system. He's clueless about formatting. He admits it, so she offers to write his story. She'd have to list herself as co-author. He'll be furious, but she's doing it all to save humanity. Kraft asks if she's ready to co-author, certain he's earned it. Javril agrees and he thanks her while begging for her final word. The alchemist couldn't bring himself to suspect anyone, and the thought weighed heavy on his heart. Next day, Liffen wakes the boy. He stood up and apologized, having pulled an all-nighter reading a book from his teacher. She freezes, turns beet red, and awkwardly asks why he's naked. No panic, it's just her upper half, but where to stash the underwear? He's not sleeping in clothes on a bed this nice. He tells her to look away while he changes, but LeFan just snaps for him to hurry up. Ina sat by his neatly folded clothes. She wouldn't move, so he picked her up and told her to stay off his clothes. He asks why she's here, but LeFan stays silent, grabbing his cloak and dragging him away. A stranger appears, asking if they're headed to the guild. Belcia joins the team. The hero thinks she's bored, making her snap. He asks who's guarding Kyle, but she shrugs. Who'd dare attack the princes? Leifan saw her defending him but missed the point. Clueless as ever, he's the one who brewed 43 legendary potions. They could have had a romantic trio date with flowers and hand-holding, but Belcia snaps, yelling it's no date and he's no joker. Arriving in the city, he notices half people are missing. That night, he's interrogated about what he knows of these intelligent non-humans. Raised in an orphanage with half-humans, Lafon is a half-blood too. Belcia forgets because he looks normal, but the barracks despise living near anyone with fur. She blames the clash of old and new ideas. Liffen knows many half-humans, and the boy notes she connects with everyone, their lucky talisman. She's shocked he called her, but the hero senses danger and points to a nearby meat skewer. He offers to pay, but Liffen knows he's dodging her question. The heroes agree and they all grab meat skewers. He hands Belcia a skewer and keeps two. She asks why she only has two. Holding one, he says she needs to eat more than belch. She bursts into tears, snapping that he has zero tact. She insists she's grown up again, so he jokes about stealing her leftover skewer. She digs in like a glutton while Belcia roasts the guy's popularity, finally reaching the Gandar Adventurers Guild. Lefend and Kraft freeze as the guild leader appears, calling them out by name. He's glad they're safe and Lafon agrees it's been ages. The hero asks why he's here and Lafon reveals one man is behind it all. His boss was just named City Guild Head and Regional Leader. The kid doesn't get the scale, but he's still hyped for him. Meds went to the authorities. The hero approved, and the man knew keeping them would have meant serious trouble. He slayed the dragon. The man drops 2 bags of gold, a special reward for them both. Stunned by the massive payment, the boy asks if they can afford it. They laugh, worried it's actually too little for a master alchemist like him, this huge sum. Just say the word and he'll do whatever it takes. Crafts has one request: he's changing the contract, fair or not. Trapped by his contract at the border, he can't move, crushing his dream of leaving with Kyle. Kraft insists on joining Kyle. He knew it was reckless, but he wanted it anyway. Gil let him stay with Kyle, leaving him stunned. Why'd he think he'd be the only one? He explains his guild contract locks him to his assigned territory, then asks Leffen for the full breakdown. Bound by a contract, he's trapped in the settlement and forced to obey Mr. Kyle for his own sake in Golden Dawn. Leffen's certain Kyle will never leave his side. Recalling his words, the boy blushes. It's the exact topic he wanted. The man notes his youth, but Kraft tells him to shut it. The guild master promised the boy he wouldn't be separated from Mr. Kyle. Worries gone, the heroes leave the guild for the orphanage, a place just like where he grew up. Years later, the church still held its grip, drawing him back out of curiosity. He watched the kids insult the half-people, then escalate to throwing stones. Half-people defend, but the master drops a rainbow shield just in time. Stones from the wall flew in every direction. They crushed everyone rushing them. The kids realized a magic barrier blocked them, and it wasn't a game. They spot Kraft's sinister glare, but the kids aren't afraid anymore. The kids bolt, leaving him questioning this life. Everywhere he goes, the cycle repeats. He checked on the half-people, glad his lucky arrival paid off. The kids were obsessed with the glowing wall, shouting how cool it was while the guy blushed hard. The kids ask if he's a wizard, but the hero's shocked. They think he's old. He's only 20. The girl appears, asking about the noise. She recognized Kraft, and he knew instantly she was Azul. Elsie asks how they know each other. He says they grew up together. He asks why she's there, but she just mocks his angry face, missing his serious tone. Kraft notes she's completely misunderstood him. Her clothes revealed she was a priest student, stunning the hero. Leifan noted this was nearly impossible for half-humans. Azul asks who they are. Lifan introduces herself and her guard Belcia. They're here to donate. Azul happily offered tea, but the heroes turned her down. The shelter was a total wreck. The shelter was a total ruin. Azul apologized for the ancient, crumbling building. This dump is beyond repair even with Kraft's fortune, while the kids beg for more magic. Lafond asks the kids their age, but they just roast her height and joke she's basically one of them. The girl snaps, screaming she's way older than she looks. The kids bolt in terror, leaving Belcia totally clueless. That night, a girl spots the real sword and calls Belsi cute, making him blush. Kraft saw she was growing up, and the knight warned the kids to stay out of adult business. Azul brings food and sees the guy as a natural with the kids. She earned a promotion by giving her all to the priest, but Kraft remembers her as a childhood menace. Leifan was set to leave after donating, but stayed to help repair the building instead. Azul refuses, announcing the shelter's closing soon. The heroes are stunned. It's a classic story. The church tries to help, but shelters are expensive and bring zero profit. No money, no orphanage. The girls claim the kids found new homes. They'll all eventually part ways. The kids refuse to leave, demanding to stay with the zoo, but the girl tells them to stop being selfish. Leaving everyone is painful. They love Azu and burst into tears. They don't get why they can't stay, as a trembling Zul begs for forgiveness. She wants to stay together, but she can't protect them. As a half-human apprentice, her only move is finding them a new home. Fighting back tears, she kept apologizing to the kids. Kraft pauses, then asks the kids if they're ready to travel far and find a new home near Azu. They vowed to follow her anywhere and give their all, exactly what the boy was waiting for. Liffen asks if he has a plan. He nods, vowing to keep them together and protect them. Dave heads to Golden Shine. Kids from the zoo rush Kyle and Kraft at the estate, where a girl apologizes for the packing delay. One boy admits he's shocked, telling the girl to stand tall and show some pride. She's the settlement's high priestess and top shelter mentor. The boy asks the hero how he pulled it off. Kyle invited the church and orphanage to the settlement, and they accepted instantly. He then wrote Azul a recommendation letter, securing her the church's full support and a promotion. The cardinal credits Azul's success to her hard work, but even with the church's support, social prejudice still stalls her career. Everyone rejoiced, finally honoring Azul's devotion as the cardinal blessed her new journey. Kraft and the kids watched as a hunter approached the hero, asking about the lovely priest. He spilled everything, shocked she'd agreed to join the new settlement. She looks at him and he instantly blushes. Gerardo rushes over, introduces himself as her new guardian, and falls head over heels on the spot. Kyle apologizes for the delay. He was just saying goodbye to his father. The boy knew he wasn't returning to Gandar soon. From the window, Baylord watched it all. Kraft remembers the hero's vow to protect Kyle, while the half-human girl warns her friend not to put Azu in a tough spot. Kyle knew who he was dealing with. Azu thanked him for the kindness. The kids act humble and ask for his help. Kyle's impressed by their manners, but Kraft realizes they've already hooked him. Azul worries the journey will drain the kids, but the team promises a quick trip and plenty of strength potions. The cart blurs, Ulfrade blasts Thunder Strike, Gerardo drops Infinity, but the attack won't stop. If this keeps up, it's a clean finish. No one gets hurt. Azu's baffled by this freakish speed, but Leifan knows she's forgotten what's normal. Either way, they arrive in just a few days. Zaid reaches Golden Dawn, but it's a total ghost town, not a single soul in sight. The guild head waited for the master, demanding answers. Where did the 1,000-man settlement go? Stay for a year and get 5 gold coins a month. Kyle's promise? No, the leader says Yakio made the official call. Kyle leaves and now nobody's left. Zaid thought it was a joke, who'd follow Kyle into that death trap. 2 weeks before Zaid arrives, Kyle hands him the village and leaves for the new lands. The villagers are furious, but Kyle calms the crowd. He gave them a choice: follow him to new lands or stay. Before he could even finish, every hand shot up. Nobody was staying behind. Kraft asks if they're sure. Zaid offers full pay to stay, but the peasants refuse, vowing to build a village that'll stun even the most arrogant nobles. Kyle hears this and orders everyone to move out now. Kraft praised Kyle's leadership as the crowd stayed, but a clueless Kyle just blamed the hero's stare on fame. The heroes stop at the boxes as Kraft explains their gear. They're ditching half the stamina potions. Village rules. Luckily, the killer's shop bought the rest. Kyle already gathered the blacksmithing and alchemy supplies in Gandar. With those materials, they can craft more anytime. His contract keeps him here. Once things settle, they'll open a new branch and move guild leadership there. They ditch the village and head out. They headed into the district's territory, a lethal uncharted zone that usually takes months to reach. Potions made them invincible. Raidoka reported the enemies were finished. One man used his last strength to pave the way. They blitzed through with zero resistance. They appeared out of nowhere, faster than a blink. Kyle thanks the duo for clearing the monsters. After planning the layout, Kyle praises their work and starts building temporary housing. The settlers dove in, everyone putting their strength and skills into the build. Kraft noticed they were acting weird. they'd covered massive ground and were already hard at work. Muscles grow through strain and rest, but special potions let them train 24/7. This non-stop grind built an insane physique. Redact solos the Cyclops. Lefon credits the potion and demands they stop handing it out to everyone. Kraft warns Kyle, weaken the public potion. If it's too powerful, the army will draft them. He liked their strength but had Liffen brief the team. She agreed and asked about the adventurer potions. They were powerful, but he ordered her to sell them normally, their raw muscle wouldn't be. Days later, the Kindo merchant is stunned. The construction speed is insane. Kraft thanks the group as Kino finally scores a deal, ending his long dry spell. He delivers the volcanic ash and lime, shocked they actually need it. As long as they pay, he's down. Kraft finds their goal weird, but constant rain makes this item cheap and easy to ship in bulk. Making this block requires ash and limestone. Mix limestone, chemicals, gravel, and volcanic ash water for instant stone. Shape it before it sets to create a rock-solid building block. Kindo wondered how strong it could get, so Kraft told him to see for himself. This test specimen is already dented on this side. The block wouldn't budge. Reddick snapped, swinging with everything he had. Surviving Redoc's attack proves it's insanely strong. What are they building with blocks this powerful? Kraft vows to build the world's strongest fortress city. Akindo doesn't blink, he's heard it all before. Kyle's 20-year plan changes fast. Reading Yarvel's books, his cross unlocks a new power, mastering alchemically reinforced stone. Making boulders on-site kills transport costs, making construction faster and cheaper. Now the ash demand makes sense, it's easy work, it's the perfect deal. Kraft's in, he trusts their top-tier gear. Kraft demands total secrecy to stop prices from skyrocketing. Akindo swears he's reliable, safety is the priority, and they'll deliver fast. Traders head out, one noting the work is actually interesting. He's on another level, this deal is pure profit, but the boss kills the party, no celebrating until the next job is done. The leader turns to Zaid. Kyle's caravan is heading here, the man smiles faintly. Kindo meets Zaid and spots a mountain of leashes, proof he's dealing with a pro. Zaid weighed his exit from Kayla, a bittersweet goodbye. Stunned merchants doubted he'd ever return after a failed journey. Kindo wants to settle here, but the land is empty. Zaid says settlers haven't arrived yet, so the boy suggests buying the merchant's goods. Inside the barn sit 4 mithril barrels and 9 endurance potions, all rare items crafted by the alchemist craft. Inspired, Zaid flips Kyle's gifts for a massive profit, doubling the settlers' starting cash. The merchant stops haggling, doubting the price, but Zaid's eyes bulge when he pays for everything in full. Why the massive stack of cash? The merchant heard there's mithril nearby, so he's buying out the entire shop. The payout was peanuts compared to the start. Zaid agreed instantly. The merchant thanked him, then made a bold request. It's a bold request after saving him. Will he let him open an inn? Give his hotel special perks, and they'll pay 10% more tax. Tavern profits are slim, but if he wants in, fine. He pays taxes anyway, so it's still a win. Seizing the chance, he demands 20% for the monopoly. The trader folds and they sign an exclusive deal. Zai's skills turned Kyle's gear into a massive profit. He crushed his goal and now he's ready to show Kyle the difference. The assistant questioned the move with Zaid winning, but Akindo explained that selling the elixirs meant he'd never uncover Wayne's hidden secrets. Darvel enters the city, eyes peeled. Confused by the hotels, she meets Zid, who blames her for being late. He tries, but only hotels get built. With just a bar, shop, and cart repair, no one stays, adventurers and settlers just pass through. He gets it, this village is a lost cause. The girl snaps back that she just arrived and already knows. The assistant reveals they're still banking huge profits, even after taxes. He's clueless how he pulled it off, but Akindo presents a document, the purchase papers for Zaid's potion. He sold them for under 1/10 of their value, totally clueless about their worth. The profit was massive. These rare, limited edition potions are worth a fortune. Zaid missed one more detail. These travelers aren't staying, they're rushing to Zalota Zoria to find Kaylee. This was never their final stop. Without stamina potions, normal people take days to cross the wilderness, making any village on the path the perfect spot for an inn. The assistant finally gets the case. Kindo was right, travelers are everywhere and hotels are packed. Zid orders Jarvel to find out why nobody lives here while the girl doubts her path as an alchemist. The merchant's nose is the key to success. He must sniff out easy prey. They raise their glasses to celebrate, but Zaid shouts that everything should have been different. In a small town, excited girls huddle together. asking the MC if he's really sure about his choice. They admire his stunning new church. As the girls marvel at its scale, he reveals it's the foundation for their future city. Is she worthy? MC tells her to give it her all, and when the kid joins in, the young man is stunned. The kid asks for magic lessons. MC hesitates, but remembering his promise, he agrees. MC offers weekly training. The heroes dive in, shocked he doesn't object, but he planned to teach them all along. He grins, telling his students to remember every word. The girl watches in awe, realizing he's finally reliable, while a boy introduces himself as Azula. Golden Dawn is rising fast, and it's set to become 3 times larger than the capital. Rumors draw everyone here, uniting their unique skills into one team. His girlfriend asks how it's going. He smiles and says everything's fine. High atop the wall, MC's blown away by the view. Progress is rapid, they've already mastered the water supply. MC asks about the tower. She says it's a refugee home she built with modern blocks. He's shocked she led the project. She agrees it was a grind, then asks if he offered support or housing. Craftsmen flock to the remote area. She thanked them all for making the trip. Hero asks for their skills, but the masters demand housing. He's already got homes ready, promising luxury upgrades for top performers. She tells Kyle to report to the master. He's stunned. A perfect job earns him a luxury house. Everyone jumps into action. Plumbers restore the water while builders hit the rooftops to repair the damage. She's hyped by their fire, and Kyle's leadership is obvious. The hero wishes them luck. She explains craftsmen rarely afford luxury, so a nice home is a huge win. He smiles but notices Kyle knows way too much about the trade. Kyle's influence is skyrocketing, but a hero suddenly announces a massive rule change. High-tier items are now banned for commoners. Handmade items never spoil and last all day. It's a total steal, so the man buys the entire stock for gold. MC greets a thriving Salora who's moved to tears. He's shocked she bought this pricey place, but she credits Mr. Call for an interest-free payment plan. Business is booming with massive orders thanks to MC and the guild's potion wholesale. Grateful for the help, she looks at him and offers a sincere thank you. He smiles, telling the girls to call him if they need help. Suddenly, Radak arrives, saying he's just in time for an important talk. He congratulates his friend for hitting rank B, telling him he earned it. MC brags he carried the dragon fight and can solo the Cyclops, but his partner credits luck, potions, and mithril. When MC asks for the reward, the warrior reveals a sword. He cheered, calling it the ultimate reward. This ball was a perfect fit. He can now one-shot the Cyclops. Dragon tooth fused with mithril did the trick. He's stoked his friend loves the blade and its creator knows it's lethal. Reddick's hyped to hunt Cyclops daily, but the MC knows he'll regret it. Overdo it and the consequences are unavoidable. A guy bursts in, hyped to hunt. The MC hesitates because he's busy, but the guy insists. A massive boar herd was just spotted in the forest. He can't transport everyone alone and asks for help, but the MC instantly realizes they only want his spatial storage. He stands for a quick warm-up but stops cold to ask again, which boar herd. He doesn't get why his friend won't take them. He asks again, who are they? Finally, everyone's here. The man offered to guide the rookie hunters through the forest. The MC welcomed them and the whole squad was hyped to team up. The hunters are stunned. Why are kids on their squad? He's from the church, checking their magic progress. He wants to work with pros but doubts this crew is worth it. The kids are hyped while the hunter leader weighs his options. MC asks what he found. The man reports orc tracks and the hunters instantly panic, fearing the worst. Hero points to the group, but the hunter warns it's too dangerous. Ignoring the risk, the MC recruits the kids for an orc hunt, leaving the adults fuming. They're stunned he'd speak to kids like that, reminding him they're only here for boars. The hero calmly waves them off. He hasn't forgotten the mission but wants the orcs too. They staked out the bushes, tracking the enemy. 6 orcs. The MC sees they're mostly younglings, but for average hunters, even this small pack is pure nightmare fuel. He knows that fear firsthand. A kid looks up, asking if he can really handle an army this big. He smiles, telling him there's no need to worry. He reassures the kids, with their skills and a little practice, they'll crush this task. He's sure the orc loot will shock her, and his words fire up the kids. Heroes vow to finish the job. They're already battle-ready. The pros are shocked. Sending kids into this hell is suicide, but the students don't hesitate, charging first and using their skills to blitz the enemy. Men freeze in pure horror. Kids unleash ice block and storm shot. Teamwork drops an orc, stunning the hunters. Suddenly, one kid screams and charges the mob, claiming them all as his prey. His lightning-fast strikes crush the entire crowd. Lightning strikes. Seconds later, the enemies are gone. The kids rush to their teacher, cheering their success. The kids celebrate their solo win, leaving the hunters stunned. They wiped out the orcs instantly. MC says it's fine, but the terrified hunters still can't believe it. He's no ordinary kid. Orcs kill grown men, but these children stomp them effortlessly. The hunters demand to know, who are they? He returns and reveals the truth. These kids chug mana and endurance elixirs daily while training hard. The hunters are stunned. Do they really use his potions every single day? MC briefed them weekly, but Rayadok's brutal training is why they leveled up so fast. Their gear is pure tempered mithril. Armor, boots, and alchemized fabric, every piece is top tier. Hunters gape at the kids' elite gear. It's total overkill, but the MC refuses to let them get hurt. Kids rush their teacher to brag, and he smiles, praising their hard work. They're far from finished. The kids doubt their teamwork, but he corrects them. Their synergy was fine, they just misjudged the situation. A wounded orc peeks from the brush, but the hunter instantly snipes him, leaving the kids frozen in horror. They missed their chance again, nearly dying for it. The young warrior sighs in bitter disappointment. Impressed by their orc slaying, the MC lets the kids keep the materials as a reward. Hero harvests the orcs for loot, eager for the payout. The kids watch in awe while the hunter admires the scene, but Golden Dawn is a total nightmare. Morning hits and the maid greets him as Sir. Before crafting Ryuko, she inspects the dragon doll's material. He explains his vision and asks for advice since he's a total rookie. Kliuska grabs the sketch, questioning the doll. He explains it's forged from elite monster parts to outclass even the deadliest dungeon bosses. He needs a loyal, house-savvy protector, basically a maid assistant. She's terrified. If he only needs one maid, why not make her his servant mentor? Once the maids close, she'll get the intel needed to finally be useful to him. Something's still bugging her, so she goes solo to prep him a gift. She opens the box, revealing a massive, sparkling gem. He asks what it is. She reveals the personality stone, the doll's brain. It grants human behavior and is an impossibly rare find. This statue embodies the kingdom's most perfect personality, leaving our hero in total awe. She asks if he's happy. She used the stone to prep his future doll, and since it's no weapon, he's moved by her precious gift. He hugs his teacher, thanking her with all his heart. He calls her the ultimate teacher for her sacrifice, but she shoves him off, telling him to stop hugging her. He awkwardly apologizes, admitting he didn't recognize her because she looks. She hands him the doll anyway, warning him not to make anything weird or teach her any combat tricks. Grinning, he asks LaFawn for a body to create the world's best maid. His teacher sighs, relieved the boy is so naive. He turns to him with one last vital message. She wants to talk research. He never considered it but promises to share his results. They agree she'll be his co-author again, and the offer moves him. She scolds him, he apologizes, and the teacher hands him a stone. He finally builds his first maid doll, and she instantly wakes up with a good morning. Morning hits as the maid enters the MC's room and throws open the curtains. She asks where he wants breakfast, and he picks the living room. Ryuko awakened his power. She nails every task first try, making her the ultimate partner. She is true divine fortune. MC thanks his master for a killer breakfast before the maid drops the schedule, lunch with Mr. Kyle. It's time to talk business as the dry field results are finally dropping. The farmhand hopes he helped. The hero finishes his meal, heads out, and asks what the doll will do while he's gone. She vows to clear the area. The hero warns her not to fail, and the doll wishes him luck. The house is already spotless, so why is she still cleaning? She even scrubs the hidden spots, making him burst with pride for his maid. Two figures watch from the rooftop. Once the hero leaves, they'll seize the legendary elixirs. They're kidnapping him for a payout while sizing up his condition after that dragon battle. The doll pops up behind the robber and addresses the guest reindeer. They offer help while doubting their official business story. They charge in, oblivious to the silent dolls sneaking up behind them. He goes for the strike, but his plan backfires instantly. The sword pierces her, but she's already turning inward. She catches the blade with 2 fingers. Her partner confirms it. They're definitely the thieves. The maid shreds the ball in one stroke. The man is stunned by her impossible grip, but the doll's already lunging. She lunges at the second robber and slaps him hard. The robber pivots as the girl and his accomplice watch, breathless. Lifon and his mentor push their construction, but breaking through was tougher than expected. Doing this in shoes the maid won't forgive is impossible. The robber's stunned. He flees, but something suddenly blocks his path. He looks up at the maid, frantically scrambling for an excuse to save his skin, but she just stares back with cold, empty eyes. The craftsman had no clue she used elite dragon materials custom-picked for her, making this item seriously strange. She became the strongest maid with a personality like no other. I didn't suspect a thing. The girl reported the cleaning was finished. Suddenly someone calls out to him. The boy greets him from horseback, but when asked if he can ride, he admits it's his first time. Thanks to the MC, Kyle's recovering and learning to write. He's a grinder, can't run yet, but he's mastered walking. He suggests checking out the fields together. MC wonders about the animals, but the heroine is stunned. She ordered 2 elite racehorses and insists that's what they got. The bird reacts gently. The hero's shocked by the steed's unique name, relieved it's not some basic farm title. She catches his look and asks what's wrong, or does he actually want her wing? The girl suddenly hugs him. He asks if Mina's joining, but she says to send her back if she's a burden. The girl's eyes well up. Angry thugs swarm the hero, blaming him for the girl's tears. He tells them to stop, reveals Kyle framed him, and apologizes. He leans in, daring her not to cry and suggesting they leave, totally forgetting the brutal knights who'd kill him in a heartbeat. MC asks about the fields, and the boy says it's about the newly sown crops. Something insane just hit the fields, and our MC is left baffled. He thanks the women, grateful the heroes pushed hard to reach them. He heard about the bedroom incident, but she says seeing is believing and leads them to the truth. The hero freezes, looking around confused. He asks what it is. She tells him it's all wheat. Instead of wheat, a massive forest sprouts. The heroes are baffled, but the woman reveals that's just how normal wheat ripens. Anna remembers the MC's special fertilizer. They sowed it last month, and seeing the wheat sprout already has everyone hyped. In a blink, the wheat field transforms, and the boy refuses to believe it. His fertilizer is top tier, but is it this powerful? He suspects the real secret isn't just the mix but this nutrient-rich soil. Stunned, he demands to know if the wheat's been safety tested. She claims every test dish was a hit. This pastry uses that exact grain, and she's inviting everyone to take a bite. Hero takes a bite and loses it. The flavor is god tier. Stale bread transforms into soft, stretchy dough. One bite and warmth floods your body, making you forget everything else. This bread is a masterpiece. The boy wants a shot, but the guard shuts him down. He claims the wheat is clearly special and worth watching, but the girl suddenly snaps off a piece and takes a bite. Scurry isn't rushing to Mrs. Maney. MC asks if she likes it, and she nods while wolfing down bread. The boy asks if there's any way, but the guard shuts him down. Tearing up, he begs Alfred for help. MC promises safety, letting the kid have a go. The guard warns him, but the hero insists. With him there, the workers are totally safe. He agrees it's a man's job to demand things, but fears the kid will hate him for banning bread, so he finally caves. He's ready for anything. The kid loves the bread, and with wheat this good, they can expand the fields. Kraft's fertilizer lets workers transplant the harvest immediately. The soil is so rich they can sow wheat multiple times this month, so the hyped hero orders a field expansion and a massive harvest. The boy asks about the fertilizer, and the MC guarantees a surplus. With enough food for everyone and extra for export, Golden Dawn's power will skyrocket as their fields expand. Special wheat is selling out fast, and greedy merchants are swarming to steal the haul, forcing the hero to consider a rebrand. Days later, the cat girl warmly sends him off from the adventurer's room. MC realizes she's forced into this. Rumors brought a swarm of men and adventurers, landing her a job at the guild. Under the golden star, peace reigns, and the MC is loving life. A girl asks what he wants from their rare specimens. Asked for one top-tier stone, the hero exposes the rest as low-grade junk, leaving the girl completely blindsided. Strange materials jam the cat girl's magic, so she thanks the boy for helping, but he snaps that he never promised anything and needs a permit to use his skills. She sighs those. She's sure Kraft's name validates the materials, but the MC asks why his opinion is worthless and why trust someone with no authority. She retorts that he still doesn't. He lets her do whatever she wants, but he's not taking the fall for the consequences. Meanwhile, our student MC grinds through non-stop daily training. He's already mastered the blade. Veteran hunters clashed with the kids. She draws her bow, unleashing a rapid-fire volley with deadly precision. Hunters are surrounded. The adults wonder, are these students just normal kids? Nearby, a guy spots something that leaves him stunned. An acquaintance asks why kids are training with pros. Reddick's testing them. Villagers only get weak potions, but these kids handled the legendary endurance tincture meant for elite adventurers. Unsure of the outcome, he tasks Radak with guarding the kids. The boys are baffled. The energy potion should have hyped the kids, but they're totally exhausted. He skipped the legendary potion for today's training, pitting the kids against 2 rank C and 2 rank D adventurers. These kids' true power threatens even elite foreign guests. After a mysterious incident, the top 3 ranks now require brutal verification, making them the ultimate dream for every adventurer. He overtrained his students, and now they're outclassing even the Golden Dawn's elite. They tell him to adapt to this place's weird logic, but Conrad cuts in. The kid's strength comes from brutal training and legendary potions. His alchemy is just that powerful. The man rushes over, thrilled to find the heroes. MC recognizes the guild master, who asks him for a private walk. MC senses trouble in the city. The man nods. They need to move fast. Inside the Adventurers Guild, our MC demands answers about the urgent emergency. Massive basilisk swarms are gathering here. He asks about the Tamil royal beast, a dragon snake hybrid with a rooster's head whose breath crystallizes victims into solid stone. They roam massive territories, and their numbers are a total mystery. MC checks his friend's crystallization resistance. He says he's fine, but even elite adventurers can't fully stop the curse. MC asks for a head count. The man estimates thousands but admits there's no exact data. He's stunned. Nobody's ever seen a number this massive. He knows if this army hits, the city is history. They built a fortress to survive, but crystallization is the real threat. Dodging it is a massive win. They must protect the Golden Dawn residents at all costs. MC needs to consult Kyle, and the man promises to dig up the intel. Days after finding the basilisk, everyone's scrambling for protection against the beast. He triggers the Antichrist case by licking and destroying the crystallization. The maid tells the hero to rest. He's barely started. The Antichrist killing potion is impossible to mass produce, and since only he can brew it, every dose saves a life. He has no right to rest. A girl in a cat suit bursts in. She screams. Cockatrices are attacking. Enemies are already charging straight for the city. Our MC wonders where the herd vanished. He spots the enemy's approach and triggers his farsight. Across the way, a massive horde of mythical beasts charges. Without action, everyone dies. He asks if Kaylee's been warned. The messengers are already moving. Kyle's still prepping his army, leaving only Alfred and Belsi to defend alongside 20 contracted adventurers. Nobody minds the raid. Someone even tells the MC to stay calm. An adventurer notes that everyone's ready to fight the moment trouble hits. Tourism is risky, so these guys value life over cash. Offer them a fortune to face danger and they'll turn you down instantly. Harris admits they have no city deal, but the man claims they're grateful and want to stay allied with the MC and Kyle for as long as possible. They aren't here for adventure, they're here to protect their homes and families. What's the price to save a friend? MC reflects as an adventurer warns they're only a few hundred strong and have zero experience in large-scale warfare. He plots to crush the foreign tourist demon, demanding an instant alert if the basilisks act up. The adventure ramps up as Kyle asks our hero how he ended up here. Kraft hunts for Radak, but he's out of town on a mission. Without him, it's like losing an entire army. Alfredo leads the residents to the strongholds. Keeping locals safe is priority 1, but there's a catch. He explains the walls aren't finished yet. They share 3 similarities. North, west, and south, that's where the old fortresses are. With only 300 men, the MC sends his elites west. A soldier hesitates, committing over half their force to one spot leaves the other fronts wide open. Watching from the tower, the hero saw their raw aggression. Once they spot humans, these cockatrices won't split up. They're swarming the west. The hero grabs the phone, apologizing as he diverts every anti-crystallization potion to the front. The man panics. What about the rest? Only 200 potions left, not enough for the north or south. The man panics. Is the hero sending the rest to die as cannon fodder? He leaned back and opened the folder. Making tough calls was a nightmare. Belsia heads north, Alfred south. With these two, even a small squad can hold off the coquette races. With no more land to scrape Antichrist crystals, the hero crafts potions to dissolve them. Supplies are low, but it'll buy them time. Alfred's squad scores the cure for petrification and preps for a rescue. A man warns they need more strength first, so Alfred keeps brewing tinctures while they get ready. The crowd thinks sending raw troops to hell is a death trap, but Bill's certain she's got this. She explains everyone has a role. Some guard the city while others stay to protect Kyle. The circus warns shops of a Kunoiski breach. He fears for Kellum and Mama if chaos erupts. He's a guard sworn to protect Kyle. The boy won't let the Golden Dawn or their city fall, so he sends the girl to defend the walls. It's a deadly mission, but she's the only one who can do it. Remembering him means remembering everyone he's fighting to protect. Kyle makes her promise to return, warning he'll never forgive her if she doesn't help. He asks if she'll do it. Saluting, she vows to obey her master and never betray his trust. She tells her friends not to worry, cockatrices are light work, but Kraft's plan is reckless and now everything hinges on his speed. He asks for her trust, vowing to find the potion that transforms the Antichrist. The race against time starts now. Erwin returns home to her maids Smile and Bow. He warns her time's running out, they need everyone's help to start brewing the potion now. 1 bottle per person means a full barrel for the midnight shipment. Standard brewing is too slow and crafting enough for 100 people will push his mana to the absolute limit. Win or lose, sacrifices are coming. No time for dreams, he needs to move fast. He orders everyone to follow the servant's lead. The workshop's buzzing, everyone's hard at work. He pushes his limits to beat the clock. 1 barrel of ancient crystallization potion is finally ready. He's demanding to be sent north and south immediately. He brews a cure for the crystals as heavy thuds shake the street. He asks why it's so noisy today. Grim thought hits, he bolts to the yard to check. He spots smoke rising from the west wall. He watches the cannons prep, but the cockatrices are already breaking through. Only a few enemies breach the city, but with 3 wall sections still unfinished, everyone's terrified the defenses won't hold. The maid asks him to check the wall's security. She warns that unfinished walls will stall the hero, so they need answers now. The hero refuses to let a mere servant leave, but she begs him to trust her. He agrees, ordering her to track the foreign tourists before she departs. The heroes dive back in. They can't leave, this workshop is their battlefield. Finish that potion fast. With just 1 ingredient, he'd be done by now. Our hero search for the cockatrice egg. Days before the attack, the lead student rallies her squad to slay the orc. Confused, her friend tries to call the hunter, but the cat girl stops her, claiming it's just a picnic like old times. She doubts their strength, but they don't need adults, they've got the potions and the master's brother handled. She tells them to go all out, but her friend warns it's still dangerous. Her solution, head to the giant boulder. No adults around, now the real quest begins. Slay the orc and bring the magic stone to his sister Azza. Girls imagine their little sister showering them with praise. She confirms the endurance potion is ready, and with the team set, the heroine orders the departure. She challenged them to a race to the mountains. Brutal battle rages at the city walls. Commander bellows at his men to steady the retreat. A massive beast hurtles down from the sky. He's slicing his own head off. The monster slams down, sending soldiers flying. Knights begged for trust as commanders ordered the charge. These adventurers couldn't work together, and while he expected a challenge, this was a total disaster. He had to take control. They're holding for now, but a full-scale assault will crush them. Tiger asks to follow, but the commander shuts him down. They won't stop, and even the boss is out of ideas. Stranger approaches, asking if he's really commander to guard. He whips around, frozen in horror. Maid charges him at full speed, never stopping. She's got a message for the commander. Suspicious, the man asks why she's here. She says walls can't stop the cockatrice swarm, making defenses useless, but my wings still let me leap high. Enemies can't fly over, so don't panic and fight to the death. The commander gets the report and orders, hold that breach at all costs. He orders the nearby group to hold fire and defend. The maid calls the situation grim, and the man agrees. He suggests numbering the groups for easier contact. The maid asks if the adventurers need their squad numbers. He's shocked, she's just a servant, how is she on the front lines? She says you're no trouble and plans to exploit their access. The commander orders her to stop, she swiped his spare axes. Too late, the hair's already vanished. A soldier mocks the commander's one-handed grip, but he's actually swinging a massive 2-handed axe that's too heavy for anyone else to lift. The maid effortlessly took down 2 at once. The commander stunned, who is this maid? The leader hasn't fallen, and the battle rages on. Soldiers clash with the Kruliskis. The cockatrice hides behind its smaller minions. The soldiers freeze, stunned by his massive frame, a literal giant on the battlefield. The massive monster gapes wide. Soldiers fight the beast, but they're outmatched. Suddenly its eyes roll back and it collapses. The soldiers froze, trading confused looks, completely clueless. The maid blurs through the air, leaving shadows as she shreds her foe before a mesmerized crowd. She lands, expertly crossing the flying axes. She glares at everyone, eyes burning like a wild boar. The hero instantly realizes the girl before him is the MC's creation. She hits insane speeds again, blitzing her enemies head-on. She clears the path and shreds more monsters. She turns to the stunned soldiers, calmly telling them they can finally speak uninterrupted. She warns Lactone his team is responsible, but the cockatrices are already breaching the line. She warns that straying from the guard means getting picked off and losing their shot at the cockatrice leader. The man admits they've split, the squad needs to hit the defensive line now. She declares Lacton's the new number 1, demoting Edsepher to 2nd. His squad must obey every order. Shocked, the hero asks the maid how she knows his name. He claims she knows every name in the city. Soldiers are stunned, but he calmly claims a maid did it. She apologizes, needing to deliver more messages. She blesses their victory, floats up, and vanishes. The commander asks if they saw it, not a single drop of blood on her after all that. Lactane wonders if that's the only thing he noticed. Meanwhile, she stays on mission, sorting and numbering the curly discs to keep everything organized. Connection restored, she drops into a stance. The real fight starts now. She freezes before the long, dark corridor. The city's evacuating, stay calm and don't crowd the streets. They get first aid right inside the hospital. Azula bandages the girl's arm, wondering if the baby's pain is real. She comforts the child while the MC is handed a hot drink and told to sip slowly. The girl tells the boys to check the streets for survivors once they're done, and they agree. The voice calls and she bolts to the rescue. The girls trade looks, asking what to do next. The cat wants to return it, but Dea knows it's too late. Her sister Azu is way too busy to talk. A friend suggests the guild, but the cat girl warns his sister will be livid, and that's just the start of their trouble. Terrified of exile, the girl collapses in panic while the boy admits he only wanted his sister happy, but his dream has turned into a nightmare. They're better off quitting adventures entirely. Kids eye the wardrobe, hiding a secret only they know. Their thirst for adventure brought this egg to Ural, triggering a total catastrophe. Back at home, a man panics, asking for the depetrification potion. The hero yells that it's almost ready and he's finishing the prep now. He asks where they're from. Alfred's right wing, they answer. He realizes the truth, the retreat has already begun. The center and cockatrices arrive, demanding endless potions. MC knows he's only safe because the left wing is already organized. He asks for time, but the man is skeptical. These rage-blinded enemies are shredding their minds, and even Alfred is hitting his limit. MC asks if the city's breached. Guards are holding the line, but the cockatrice's breath has already turned every charging adventurer to stone. Carolyn's shattered them all into dust. Desperate, the hero reveals he made an anti-petrification potion, and the shocked man immediately demands it. The boy refuses, offering only a fraction and sending the rest to the center. The man is livid. How can this tiny part help? He screams they're all dead because of the MC, but his team tries to hold him back. Use your head, the center is everything. If enemies breach Soul there, the city is finished. He's already at his limit, waiting for the next game will break him. He admits they were greedy, but surviving alone is impossible. He begs for understanding as our hero gasps, slumped over the barrels. One goal, brew potions as fast as possible, but wait, is someone calling his name. Lafond bursts in to help, catching him off guard. He asks about the fence and she smiles, it's already done. They ask about the petrification cure's success as the men pour the medicine into our hero's mouth. Seeing him spiral, she rallies him, insisting he can't quit and must push past his limits. He lacks what's necessary and everyone's hit their limit. She begs for backup, questioning her motives since the group is already here. Her words hit him deep. The medicine must reach the right wing. Since the girl is the fastest, she's the courier. MC snatches the barrel, barking that they should have done this from the start. She told him to rely on her, promising the barrel ASAP while he cracked open the mana elixir. He's doing whatever it takes to finally finish the medicine. Back to the defense line. Left wing now, the commander spots the enemy, they've already arrived. She orders her lawyer to follow the plan and stay alert. She mounts her horse, telling the wing she's counting on it. Opponents hurl themselves into the wall at high speed. The squad charges, leading the army on horseback. The heroine roars a battle cry, rallying her troops to fight to the death. The cockatrices charge, but he stands firm and blocks their path. She spurs her horse, it rears, but the rivals charge on. The heroine charges, swinging her sword with everything she's got at the cockatrices. Screams pierce the air, she levels her blade at the enemy and coldly declares, "This is the end." Both fighters pause, panting hard to recover. Capture squad watches Belsazana push the wing to its limit, slowly draining the cockatrices. Left wing plan, the leader herds the enemy while archers rain fire. The squad backs her up, cheering as she drives them straight into the trap. She keeps swinging, relentlessly driving her opponents into a corner. Everyone gathered, she signaled the charge, and archers drew back, ready to fire. They rain a hail of arrows on the enemy. Explosions roar. The squad celebrates early, but the heroine shuts them down, ordering everyone to stay sharp. Suddenly, a basilisk appears beside her. The monster gapes its jaws. The commander accepts his end, but a sudden arrow strikes the beast. She nails him in the head, turns, and spots the hunter. He walks up to check if she's okay. She cheers and thanks him for the rescue. He rallies the squad to crush the second wave just like the first. The leader jokes about finding him a lady knight next. He cheers, vowing to do whatever it takes, leaving her stunned he actually heard her. The boy shouts he'll take them all while she holds the line, but a fresh wave of enemies is already swarming the wall. Under this pressure, the defense is about to break. The commander briefs his men on the right flank. He warns them to hold back. They haven't taken their resilience potions yet. They're out of petrification potions and can't afford another loss. Who wants a guy this reckless? The warriors ask if he's going solo. The commander confirms he'll fight alone while they finish off the wounded. He warns his fighting style is far from normal. He spurs his horse and charges to the front. Spear leveled, he charges full speed, screaming his battle cry as he plunges into the cockatrices. Enemies are blitzing straight for the commander. He closes in, spinning his spear to carve through the horde and knock giant monsters aside. It works, he drops several enemies. His men watch in awe as the commander shreds every foe. With a spear in hand, he's lethal. He grins, praising his horse for its service. He forgot one thing: they can fly. A massive bird swoops right over his head. He targets the defenseless warriors as the youth scatter in panic. The commander shouts, cursing himself for the unwanted attention. This basilisk is massive. He's running out of time, but a voice from above shouts that they've got it. He sprints to help her friend. Her stone-crushing strike shatters their skulls, leaving the crowd breathless. The monster crashes down as the heroine sticks a silent landing. She tells the driver she brought the petrification cure. The warriors fight back, tears of joy. The commander approaches, and she boldly vows to fight by their side. The jacketed girl is a hammer master and the perfect support to keep the heroes alive, but the man still senses something's wrong. Time's up, it all depends on how fast I brew this potion. At the church, the girl treats the man's wounds until a maid approaches and calls her name. She asks for a moment and the heroine turns, shocked. He stares at her guest, stunned. Recognizing the maid, it asks if she's his son Ruko, shocking the MC. Now, the water wants to help her. The maid elegantly asks to see the 4 children living at the church. Knock at the door, the girl's turn, offering help. The girl apologizes for her fatigue, trusts the kids to help, and heads back to work. After she leaves, the maid tells the children it's time to pick a name. She leans in, asking for whatever they're hiding behind their backs. An egg hides in the wardrobe behind them as terrified servants watch the maid. She insists he needs this. She's taking the girls straight to the MC. They try to protest, but the maid shuts them down. The girls burst into tears, apologizing and swearing they regretted everything. Stunned by the reaction, the maid quickly apologizes to the kids, admitting she's fresh from the battlefield and hasn't adjusted to peace yet. She smiles softly, giving the kids a warm look. Her gloomy face is tougher than housework. Replaced again for getting confused, she only wanted to give the girls advice. She swears it's fine, insisting he's actually a good guy. She grins, certain he'll forgive them. The maid reaches out for a hug, beckoning the kids to join him. Back home, the potion grind rages on. Exhausted, the MC finishes another barrel. Deliver it now, he barks, and his partner agrees. No time to rest, he needs that medicine now. Suddenly, dizziness hits as the man calls him by name. The man stares in terror, but time's up. He collapses, but the maid catches him midair. She asks if he's okay, and he thanks her for the clutch save. Smiles, realizes his delicate maid is actually a powerhouse. He'll have to respect her strength now as she bows in thanks. She reports it's quiet outside with 0 damage. The hero's relieved that's the news he needed. Gasping for air, he realizes he's hit his limit. Mana potions can't hide this magical burnout, the brutal price for mass-producing legendary elixirs. She knows change requires a spark. She turns to him with another bombshell. Shocked, he asks what she means as she tells the kids to stay brave. Boys can't face the teacher, paralyzed by the shame of their mistake. The maid nudges the cat girl, telling her to go at her own pace. Eyes covered, the girl begs for forgiveness, fearing she caused the monster's attack. She shakes with terror, too scared to face her teacher. He's stunned by the object the little girl holds out. She clutches a basilisk egg, while a stunned man watches in fascination. The girl holds out the egg, admitting she just wanted an adventure. It was a trophy once, but she's changed her mind. Suddenly, a man calls her kitten and snatches it, growling that she has no idea what she's done. Terrified, the kids beg for forgiveness. MC snatches the man's arm, stopping the blow to the kid.